So hello and welcome to the 2025 UCI Mountain Bike World Championships from Valais in Switzerland. We are in Champéry in the Valais canton, home of some iconic racing over the years, both on the World Cup and in terms of World Championships. This is the men's elite downhill final, and the action already coming thick and fast all the way through qualifying as well as our preceding races, the junior men's, the junior women's, the women's elite races that have all taken place so far on this track. The latest variation of what has been seen as maybe a super special track, that level above which comes into play, comes out for World Championships. One rider who's ridden that track and is now in the commentary box, Andrew Neathling, here with me, Matt Payne, as we bring you the action from the track. The sunshine is out, we are looking down on the arena, and here in the south side of Switzerland, just to the south of east of Lake Geneva, well, it's an area that, Andrew, you've ridden regularly, and a great place to ride this side of the Porte de Soleil as well. Some amazing tracks and some scenery that is just unparalleled.
It truly is breathtaking, as you'll see from the pictures on screen, but it is incredible to ride and you know, prepare for these races here on the Swiss side of the Porte de Soleil region.
And here in Champéry, they have been welcomed with open arms, the mountain bike circuit coming here for what is a legendary track, and no one will ever forget, I'm sure, Danny Hart's run down here to take victory in the men's elite championship. A fantastic race, and I have to say it's great to see Danny back here once again. No one will forget that run, but the weather is totally different. I mean, we've seen a different track in lots of ways because of the development, and yet at its core it's that same mountainside, that same slope that's playing host to the course. We start off at the top of the course and drop what is 582 meters of descent down. We're trucking across the cable car route right back down into Grand Paradis at the base. We've seen a lot of incidents on what are relatively innocuous, the less technical but higher speed sections on this course in previous races, and we're not going to give any spoilers for the previous races. Well, we'll try not to, so forgive us if we do.
Yeah, that will be the challenge today, is managing that speed in the braking board, because it's the driest it's been all week. They had a lot of varying conditions throughout the week, and they were challenging for the riders, especially in qualifications. Riders said it was so inconsistent, very greasy, very slippery, but it is, sun is shining, it's going to be incredible racing, and the track, as you said, is one of the steepest, most iconic tracks, and we haven't been back in 14 years.
Well, one man who has already taken a run down. Let's take a look at Brun's run down here in qualification.
Yeah, we're privileged to take a long side trip here now with Loic Bruni. He's going for yet another World Championship title here. He'll be dropping last. So as you see, these are the top turns. You've got to come out very committed, but it's like a bobsled track, not a lot of lines. Here you'll see two variants of lines, and then he'll set up into a steep section where, you know, the beginning of practice, riders are trying all the lines. Here he's going down riders right, which will be the main line you will see later. Potentially a few riders like Dakota Norton will be trying other creative lines. They feel more comfortable riding off the main line sometimes. And this is the Foss section. This is the famous Sam Hill turn. It is treacherous. I've never heard so many riders say how scared they are. They make it look easy, but trust me, you are really, really challenging yourself to get up on that high line and commit. So here we're out into the open. It's going to be a lot drier here today. And these are the little sections. Yes, they look simple in inverted commas compared to some other sections, but this is where you make the time. This is where you put a race-winning run together. So we're nearing the end here. Arm pump will be setting in, lactic acid in the legs. There is no real pedaling on this track, but we have recorded some of the highest heart rates ever on a downhill track. This is one of the fastest sections. I've watched it from the lift a few times. It's just frighteningly fast.
As the riders come down, this is where we're starting to get a real indication of whether they are on time, whether they're on target. A lot of the time being lost in preceding races and in qualification between split 2 and split 3. And this section really critical. Get this right, you can set up a race win on this section where you come off the main bike park track and cut the corner and then into the steep section again.
Yeah, and this is where Loic had a huge crash in practice, setting up, trying to go really wide coming in, and he just got cross-rode and had a big crash. But he's saying he's feeling pretty good, but mentally you have to get over that. It's not just the pain you might be in, but it's the doubt of riding that section clean again come race time. And it's got an amazing finish ball here in Champéry, some awesome jumps. Danny Hart whipping those in his famous run from 2011, which we'll chat more about probably when Danny is coming down the hill. But we're so lucky to have good weather here. We've got an incredible racetrack, and it's gonna be wild. Strap yourselves in.
And in qualification, Loic Brun going through to take away a third place time in qualification. The fastest time in qualification going to Jackson Goldstone, a 3-minute 2-second run, going through 0.87 ahead of Amaury Piron. And then Loic Brun in third, Ronan Dunn in fourth place. Defending champion Loris Vergier. Well, Vergier not able to repeat a winning run in terms of qualification, coming through in 17th position and giving away nearly 8 seconds on the fastest time of the day. This run, we see it taking its toll on the riders. We've seen it take its toll on the bikes. There's been a number of riders come down in practice. The commissaires and the team around here are race referees, for those not up to date with cycling parlance. Commissaires, the referee of cycling, and all the volunteers here who make the racing happen, absolutely critical, along with the medical crews who are looking after the riders, because it doesn't always go right, does it? The riders are not always staying between the tapes. They're not always staying inside the crash netting. Our top 3 riders at the moment have done that. Initial hot seat and a leader was Christoph Handel, the rider on the right of your screen for Osher. He went down into first place. He was chased down by Finn Brun with a time of 3:07.123. Handel's time as he came down was fast enough, but not fast enough to keep off Brand's. Wim Master came down chasing. He pushed himself into second place. Not bad for a 38-year-old rider. And Wim Masters, as always, a crowd pleaser and very, very popular.
Yeah, that he is. Second oldest rider in the field. Johan Kortgieter has been teasing him because they born in the same year, but he's born earlier in that year. So Porty holds the oldest rider, but I mean, that's incredible for Win. He's not spending as much time on the downhill bike, so just to come here and represent New Zealand, he said, was quite the honour.
And the time set by Finn Brans at 3 minutes 7 seconds. A great ride by the rider from the Netherlands, and that is potentially a time that is going to withstand a lot of attempts to beat it.
Yeah, I do think the guys are going to go quite a bit quicker than their quali run. It was late in the day yesterday. The shadow had come over the course. It was very greasy, inconsistent conditions, but the riders are very happy with conditions here today.
And a number of riders challenging on the way down. Remy Mayer-Smith was up at split 1, split 2. He's been off course. We've seen a couple of other riders go off course and be medevaced out because it's the fastest way out. It doesn't need to be a serious injury. It's just the quickest way to get people off the mountain and to get the racing up and running. And the medics team's doing a fantastic job. Whether or not it's a major... quickest way up the mountain is either by cable car or on a bike on the way downhill, if you've got the skills and you can hold it together. It does mean there is a delay in terms of race schedule, and that can affect the riders. It's something that everybody's used to, though, in the downhill scene.
Yeah, it does happen. It is the nature of the sport, but it does unsettle you at the top. If you've done a warm-up and you're on the way to the start gate and then the course hold happens, you've got to now reset. You've got to decide, am I going to go back and do a full warm-up? Am I going to just do a smaller warm-up? Am I just going to relax? And it really can unsettle your process.
And that process varies from rider to rider. There's no one formula dependent on... it's almost as personal as the choice of headphones.
You said it absolutely right. Every rider is different, and sometimes riders try copy what other riders are doing. It doesn't work for their personality types. It doesn't work for their body type. So it's really critical to try find what works especially best for you.
And when you are then up at the top, and we can see riders up here waiting for the start, thinking about their run down, that's really when it's much more difficult to deal with, I guess, because you don't have the same level of support as you have down near the start area.
No, absolutely not. And you see a lot of riders will have headphones in. Some of them don't even have music. It's just to kind of quieten the mind so people don't come up to them and talk to them. You know, the wrong thing said at the wrong time can really unsettle your mental space.
And is that something that the teams are protective of, that they're very protective of the riders, trying to make sure that they don't get disturbed if that's their mindset?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, a mechanic is half parts mechanic as he is psychologist, as he is security guard, I would say, and keeping them out of, say, harm's way. But, you know, it's really interesting. You know, riders at this level are still fragile.
We're all human beings, and mind games is such a big part of this, the ability to think, to stay calm under pressure. We've seen that in preceding races. You can see the start list on your screen. A quick reminder, 94 riders went into qualification, made the start gate for qualification. That was taken down to 80 riders. The riders start in order of their UCI ranking. So the riders who have no UCI points start first. Now, first UCI ranked rider was Matthias Brun of Czechia, 583rd in the rankings, but with ranking points. Our last rider off is Brun, the highest ranked rider. He will actually go after Lois Vergier, the defending champion, on the way down. So it's done in UCI order. It does mean in qualification riders can't change their start order if the weather was to change. We're not going to see that here today. The forecast is it's going to stay sunny. It's going to stay consistently the same, and really the only change in track condition is due to the riders on the track.
Yeah, you've said it well. This is going to be the best the track runs all week. But the thing to caveat is they haven't seen it this dry. It will be running faster than ever, and braking points will be a big challenge. If you get those wrong, you can go off in what looks like a simple section because you've left the braking way too late, and you've got to brake late, you've got to brake in the turns, you'll stand yourself up. So we saw a few of the junior riders sort of mess up what is a simpler berm within reason and land in the catch netting.
But keeping the bike in one piece is part of the skill. Whether or not it's the same bike you've ridden all season, whether there's been a change. And you were saying earlier, a lot of the riders changing rotors for bigger rotors, to potentially get more braking force, for better cooling as well, because there's so much braking involved on here, different bars as well on that setup, and different compression, different suspension setups.
Yeah, for the nature of the track being so unique, we're definitely going to see setups they probably won't run the rest of the year or prior to this, but they would have tested that. They knew how steep it was. Many of them are obviously going to raise their bar heights. That gets more of the weight over the back wheel that neutralizes how steep it is. But what's interesting is some riders are even trying different size bikes. A lot of them have gone to a shorter rear end. That's also for better balance and to be more agile in some of these tight berm turns.
Because it's not just big, wide, flowy turns, it's not all high speed. There's some of these really tight turns. We've seen riders lose so much momentum on them, and yet other riders just flipping it round that corner, just literally carrying the speed and hardly slowing at all. And yet it's super tight.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a matter of commitment. I mean, you can hop up high, and if you brake at the wrong time, you're just going to not carry speed for another 50-yard section. But you'll see riders, they really commit. They're sometimes able to hop out of those turns, which we'll see later.
So if you are just joining us here at the 2025 UCI Mountain Bike World Championships in Valais, this is the men's downhill, just on a hold at the moment due to an incident on course. That incident being dealt with as we speak, and we will resume the race runs very shortly. Our first rider away should be Samu Kaupinen of Finland. He was due to go at 12:42 local time, and that means now he's almost 35, nearly 40 minutes behind his scheduled time. And that's not just a little hold. Hydration and fueling is going to be key, isn't it? Because riders have to go in. I mean, it's not pure aerobic, it's not endurance, it's not like the mountain marathon that we've seen, where we've got riders out racing for 8, 9, 10 hours in the Alps. We're talking about a very short, intense effort, but you still got to be fueled for that, you still got to be hydrated for that, you still got to have your body in tip-top condition, and that will change because what you fueled in is some of it's going to already been burnt away just waiting.
Yeah, it's a lot of mental energy you will spend on these holds, and that's key, is to keep relaxed, to sort of try get out of race mode. You're going to have to reset and start all over again. But the big boys, they've literally done this so many times. They'll know about this, so they're lucky enough, might not have even got on the lift to go up yet. So it's going to suit them just fine. They can stay in the pits a little bit longer and redecide, okay, when do I start my prep and when do I go up? But the guys stuck at the top, yeah, it's just luck of the draw.
And the big teams, they've got multiple people, so they've got people out on course. I think, was it 9 spotters you said on course for the French team? Was it 30? Can't quite remember. You said earlier. It was a huge number. I was like, that's phenomenal. But the big teams, they have that communication, not just on course spotting on the race route, but also backing up the riders down in the big event village at the bottom in the pit area, but also at the very top where they're, you know, coming into that finish, into the start hut, then down into the finish. So there's a huge communication network between all these riders. It's a lot of radios. It's a lot of people talking. The team manager has got to be key at that stage when you've got such a big team.
Yeah, I mean, communication is becoming so key. These big teams have 16, 17 people total, you know, personnel, riders, mechanics, chefs. So it's an incredible professional sport, and that is key, as you said, but it's also about not overloading them with information, you know. They only need to know exactly that the race is on hold, and here's your new time that we're going to head up to the top. You want to decrease the amount that the racers are dealing with on race day.
So keep them in the zone, keep them in that prepared state, keep them ready, almost on standby, waiting to go for that call to then, right, okay, we're back on schedule, we're X number of minutes behind, and then we're going to go. And when you've got a small team, because not all of the nations are huge, not all of them have multiple staff, we do see some of the smaller nations, some of the new emerging nations, where mountain biking maybe has not got this same history that we see in America, in Europe. The newer nations coming through, they don't have that volume, and that does make it harder, doesn't it?
Oh, it's way more challenging. It really is. I mean, especially when it was raining early in the week, the riders are potentially washing their own bikes. Maybe some parents are over here supporting these nations and doing some mechanic work versus, as we mentioned, the pro teams, you know, have got their personal mechanic, managers, chefs, soigneurs, you know, you're getting a massage after the race. So they'll do every little bit of marginal gain to try to get that performance out of their athlete. But it does bring with that pressure. Brings with that expectations. If there's big brands, big teams, a lot of money behind you, they expect results, you know.
And that pressure can transfer on, and that being a top-class rider is professionally now, it's no good just having the best legs, the best mental ability, the best skills, the best strength, the best ability on technical. You also need to be able to put yourself out there in terms of social media profile, or have somebody to do it for you. Know what your strengths are when it comes to that, to your representation of the brand, to being on brand, to making sure that you're an ambassador for your sponsors. And that is all part of dealing now with being the pressure of being a top flight sports star.
Yeah, that's what I think is really impressive with someone like Jackson Goldstone. He does a lot of the course previews. He's obviously prominent on social media. They grew up with that, so it's less of a distraction for them. But I think the older guys, it is tough, you know, having to do all those things. And it is part of, you're a marketing tool to the brands. There's no hiding from that.
And I mean, I remember watching a free ride video in the days of DVD and video rather than downloading things. It shows you how long ago it was. Jackson Goldstone, really young, out and riding, being brought up in the environment, and it's probably a good time to talk about the fact that his season has been so good, and yet at the same time he's had plenty of downs as well as plenty of ups. 4 wins in a row, and yet he started his season on the World Cup 26th, and he finished it in Leger 20th, and I think you were there right alongside pretty much as he came over the line.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a challenge for him. Like with a long race series, you are going to have some bad races, and there's way more depth of talent in these races. So your bad race is even worse than it used to be. But you know, he's made all the finals. He's had those wins. I mean, it was incredible to see 4 in a row. But he has had injuries already in his career, so it's been interesting. We haven't seen him line up at an Elite World Championship in 2023 or 2024. It's quite a big unknown. This big race, this one-off race for a rainbow jersey, going up someone like Loic, who managed to win 5 in 7 years. I mean, you know, so yeah, that's an incredible feat in its own. So he is the GOAT of World Championship in this current era. Certainly, yeah. He's second only to Nicolas Voulios, who has got 7 wins overall, Bruni. So Bruni, even if he takes a win here, he's not going to get the all-time record. Somebody who you and I bumped into earlier on, Greg Menard, with 4, currently sits in 3rd place, ahead of Sam Hill, G. Atherton, Fabian Barrett. Whilst we're talking about past champions, I decided that we were going to test your knowledge in the pub quiz version here, whilst we are on hold.
Can you identify? I'm going to sit in front of all the notes on the wall that I've got pasted up as well.
I need to look at my notes.
No, let's see, buried in your head here.
Okay.
Play along at home, feel free. What unites, what brings these riders together? Charlie Hatton, Loic Bruni, Greg Minnaert, Fabian Barrel, and Greg Herbold.
They all won at home in their World Champs.
You're just too good. Can you name which ones? Which venues?
Which venues? Well, Maritzburg is Greg Minnaert. Loic Bruni is Leger. What were the other guys?
Charlie Hatton.
Charlie Hatton is Fort William.
Fabian Barrel.
Fabian Barrel was Leger.
And Greg
Herbold. Well, where was the race? Durango, Colorado?
Durango, Colorado was very first.
Guess.
Yeah.
Probably wasn't born then. When was it? 90?
Yeah, it was Durango, 1990.
There are a lot of clues there, but I appreciate that. There's enough clues there for me to build my knowledge. I think the problem is my memory more than like...
Is it too many crashes?
Yeah,
That's what
unfortunately, yeah.
Well, the medics going to attend to our riders here in this fantastic setting of Champéry. If you are just joining us, if you've been away to make yourself a cup of tea, coffee, or maybe get something fizzy to drink, well, we are still on race hold at the moment because we have got an incident on course. Just going to get one of our riders off the course, just attending to them, and then the helicopters team's doing an amazing job. We are actually able to see the helicopter from our position here on the arena, and the precision flying is quite incredible. I've got to say, I personally know a number of riders who've been helicoptered off mountains over the years. I've always managed to limp my way down, and they've all said what amazing teams, what an amazing job they do. And sometimes it can be as simple, it doesn't even need to be a break or something major. They can just not be in a fit state to get themselves down, and they don't want to then cause even more of an issue to that rider, whether it's a twisted arm, finger, ankle, whatever. It can make a difference. We're now going to be going back into the racing fairly shortly, I suspect, because just seeing our hot seat in there.
I've got a quiz for you.
Oh, yeah,
So
careful.
which rider in the field or at the race has competed at every World Cup or World Championship held in Champéry on this famous volcanic downhill track? I don't know if you're going to see it on your notes.
I'm probably not going to see it on my notes. Every single one.
And then he's in the field now, today.
But that gets us back to 2006, does it not?
Seven.
Là, c'est live. Le ton est beau, le ciel est bleu.
Tricky. Not.
Et j'ai une
So we're not talking with Masters kind of era.
Almost, but I'm not sure if he was here at the 2011 World Champs. I have it. I had it on good authority.
Pottinger?
No,
also
he wasn't
old
here in
enough.
7.
No,
Remy
wasn't
Terrot.
Remy Terrot.
As far as I know,
okay.
and then there's 5 that were in the 2011 World Champs that are still here, that we've both been researching. But it sounds like Remy's the only one that's done them all. And got a chance for a crazy good result today. He's my dark horse.
Well, he's still inside the world top 20. It says so much.
And he's just qualified first at Leger last week.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
I mean, we joke about, you and I are relatively old compared to a lot of the riders here. Like me, maybe a lot older than you. But I think to see these riders being able to perform year on year on year on year, I mean, Greg Minnaert's a great example of that, isn't it? Because he was so good for so long, and absolutely, the GOAT with sport, realistically. How do riders do that? It's not just good genetics, is it? You've got to look after yourself long term.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously you've got to have the physical side, but I think what's most impressive for me is the mental side. Obviously, motivation comes and it goes. Different things motivate you different times. But you've really got to get over crashes. You've got to get over bad races, and you've got to mentally block out this number. People say you're so old. You might start thinking, I don't have it anymore.
And just taking a look on the screen at the moment, you can see we've got plenty of riders now maybe just having a wander about. The temptation to do something maybe out of the norm is going to increase the longer the hold is. The temptation maybe to look at the section of course, maybe as we saw, they just go wander down, look at the start, just look on those first turns. That can have a negative impact rather than a positive one.
No, it certainly can, and you just mustn't try to do anything outside the ordinary. But Greg Minnaert was famous for often wanting to be up there early enough to go have a look at the first turn. That was part of his process. I didn't use that. Maybe that was one of my downfalls. But I've got a very funny story of a mechanic trying to keep me calm, kind of keep me level-headed and not get too nervous. And he was trying to tell a joke, but he was a old famous racer, Oscar Seiss, many a great result. And he was trying to tell his joke in broken English.
Okay.
Or translated. This joke kept on going and going to the point that I had to remind him that I need to get off this warm-up bike.
And actually get to the race
to the race, I said, I understand what you're trying to do. It's working. I'm relaxed. We need to get to the start.
I'm so relaxed I'm going to miss the start if we're not careful.
I'll get the punchline after the race. Thank you very much. I got to go.
Well, I don't think we're going to be waiting very much longer for that punchline. Just being advised that the race is due to start in probably 1 or 2 minutes' time at the top of the hillside. The spectators won't have long to wait. They've had the chance to find the prime position up on the slopes. Lots of our youngsters out and around. It's one of the great things to see it downhill. Is so many families here. Probably, I'd say half the spectators are here as families that we're seeing out on the slopes in and around the arena area and right up onto the banking. And some of those, real hardcore mountain biking fans. It's in the DNA. You know, they keep a mental note of everybody's shock settings, tyre pressures, team change, but also lots of new fans, lots of people maybe just coming along for the first time as well, because it's in the region and it's the World Championships.
I mean, it's an incredible race in general to witness, but if you're new to the sport and you came and stood on the side of this, what I like to say is a cliff. It really is a cliff. To witness people riding on a bike, even though I've done this sport, to me it is actually kind of shocking.
It's certainly... I've been lucky enough to go to a lot of race venues, and I've walked most, if not all of those. And walking and being on the side of this is something special. Yes, you're in the Alps. Yes, you're in the big mountains. Yes, it's full of history, going back hundreds of years from a climbing point of view, and then in the recent history from a mountain bike point of view. But it is something special, this track, the way it's cut onto the hillside. There aren't many choices. It's limited line choices in places, partly because there's limited ways to get off the side of the mountain and get down in one piece. We are going to be going back into the race, and this is the 2025 UCI Mountain Bike World Championships, the men's downhill. Just put on hold whilst the course is reset. We're getting ready to go racing. You can see the big crowd gathered down in the arena. The finishing arch awaiting our runners after the final gap jump over the river that makes its way down into Champéry here in Valais. The canton playing host to all the different facets of mountain biking, holding their world championships here, from the pump track to the marathon to the cross-country Olympic, the short track cross-country. Riders are going to be out and racing. The enduro already taking place. Richie Rood already taking a title in the men's race. Ellie Hoskins doing the same in the women's racing. Our riders in the hot seat, they've had a pretty long wait. Finn Brun could have maybe thought he put a good run down that he was going to wait, maybe not thinking he was going to be waiting nearly an hour.
No, but I mean, other than winning the race, there's not much better feeling to accomplish a run and be in the hot seat. It's just, you can just breathe a sigh of relief.
So Samu on to course. We're back racing here at the World Championships. The downhill is go. Qualification time, as you can see, nearly 40 seconds down on our race leader and winner of the qualification, Jackson Goldstone, in a 3-minute 2-second.
And nothing to lose here for the man from Finland. I mean, he squeaked in 80th position, within touch at the first split. And this is so cool, just reminds me, legendary Matti Leekon 1 year in 2007.
So that went back in 2007. What can Samu do here today? He was down at split number 1. He's down at split 2, just heading in through split 3. He's only 5 seconds down at the moment, and that would place him into second place. Finn Brun's time, well, that was 8 seconds quicker than Win Masters. So get inside 8 seconds of the fastest time. It will put you into second place. Samu heading down towards the arena, comes out into the sunshine here. This faster section, of course, very, very quick. You drop down the speed bill going down into and under the arch into these doubles really quick.
So quick, yeah. This is great experience for the Finnish junior champion back at home in his day. Nice, respectable finish considering you snuck into the finals in 80th position.
Waiting a long time, though. Literally waiting at the gate, waiting to go. And then he's away. Now, Yannis Lehmann of Switzerland. This man's going to get his eardrums blown out if he didn't have that full face helmet on. Very quickly onto the course. I dread to think how many times he's ridden down here at Champéry.
Can you imagine? I don't know if it's as much as Ronan Dunn, who we're going to see later.
No.
The rumours are that he's done at least 80 runs before he even got here. So let's see what that brings later. But, you know, these Swiss riders have been doing well. He's got some great World Cup results in the past. Swiss national contender. And with in touch here at the first intermediate. Listen to the chainsaws already. Oh, big scrub from the man. Oh, he's loving it.
So on his way in towards the line, the clock is ticking. It's going to go outside number one. He's going to get in second place. So 2.252 seconds down. Yannis Lehmann in through, picking up speed on the way through. Not the only Lehmann on the way down. Lino Lehmann going to be following 2 minutes behind. So sandwiched in between is going to be our Brazilian rider, Gabriel Camargo Giovannini, making its way down. 2019 Brazilian champion. Well, we saw him waiting patiently on the ramp, on the access into the start. Now down into the woods.
Dude, look how blisteringly fast this is. I mean, these are just guys that have qualified in 50-odd position. We are going to have a crazy race on our hands here today. Going for that wide high line. Loic Bruni showed us that, and he's setting up nice and great tidy lines by the man. Within touch at the first split.
And really taking a wide line in and a tighter line out, carrying as much speed as he can through the corner.
Yeah, that line was a lot more challenging early in the week because there isn't a catch rut to turn off, so it's really greasy. Oh, going for the inside line there as well.
We're going through 7 seconds down on our hot seat rider, and that is currently Finn Brands of the Netherlands at 3:07. The time to beat Lino Lehmann. On to the slopes now.
Yeah, he's a regular at the IXS Cups in Europe, which is a great race here to cut your teeth at. So gaining some international exposure and experience here.
What can he do as he heads down the slopes? He's got to be putting in a fast time at the top and then keeping it in place. First time check's going to come just before that 30-second marker. You're not far away now. Is he going to have lost time? It's close. Oh, he's up as well. Look at this.
Green at the first split. It's so cool. These riders are going to remember this race for the rest of their lives. It's nothing like racing at home. The energy, the fans, the noise.
So Lino Lehmann down onto the lower slopes now, making his way in towards the finish. Pedals over into the arena as the Swiss flags fly. Applauded there by Yannis Lehmann, who is the rider in second place. He goes into third place, so it's going to be Finn Brands still leading. Yannis Lehmann in second place, Lino Lehmann in third at the moment.
So the Austrian sneaking into the top 50 in qualification. National Cup competitor here, building his World Cup experience on the big stage here in Champéry. Oh, that is so rough and so fast already. You can see how dry some of these turns have become. A lot less greasy than yesterday. Yeah, these times are going to just come tumbling down today. It's going to get drier. It's going to get better. It's going to get faster.
So Kevin Schnoller just losing time, 0.3 at split 1, 1.3 at split 2, 4 seconds at split 3. He goes over the line, 5.7 seconds down. Inside the top 5 of the riders who've come in. So Schnoller currently in 5th, Kapanen in 4th. Both Lehmanns, Lino Lehmann in 3rd, Yannis Lehmann in 2nd, Finn Brands still leading. So Alvaro Pestana now on to the descent, the Portuguese rider. Qualified in 77th place, 80 riders going through of the 94 riders to take to the qualification start line.
Yeah, the young Portuguese, they got some great riding over there, hosting some awesome World Cups in Lusa. It's nice to see some of these youngsters here at World Champs. A little bit off at the first split, so you can just see that his intensity is not quite there, considering how dry these conditions are.
So down with Alvaro Pestana as he comes in towards the finish, going through split number 4, 7 seconds down. You can see that clock ticks onwards. He's going to go through in 10th place, still inside 10 seconds of the race lead, and Brun's continuing to sit in the hot seat for a little while longer. Will that change? Jacob Jewett on the way down here. So Jewett of Canada, 22-year-old. On the descent, a quick start needed, but you've got to maintain that. What can he do here? 39th in qualifying, a quick qualifying time, only 14 seconds off the leader.
Yeah, former World Cup junior podium contender. So he's just trying to find his feet here at the elite ranks, but he's got some incredible results back in the domestic series. Man with a lot of riding skill, a lot of talent. So I have all faith, and up at the first split, I have all faith that just give him some more time, these guys will find their way in the elite category.
So 6th of 6 tenths of a second up at split number 1. He's not going to make it on the way through. He goes to half a second down. Good run, losing time on the way down. So Jacob Jewett going in to 2nd place. He was the fastest rider at split 1 and 2, 0.5 and 0.4 of a second, but then losing time. But at the moment, 0.557 separating first from 2nd place, with Yannis Lehmann now down into 3rd.
Oh, you could hear that. Wow.
That was a
That seemed like
hit.
It went straight to the rim. A lot of these riders will be riding a lot less pressure than they normally do, just to try find traction, to try find braking.
And grip and braking are really, really key, more so maybe than rolling resistance, because it's always a balance between the two.
Absolutely, you're so right. He's not a worry about rolling resistance here.
No,
you just let off the brakes for a split second, and then you're wishing you hadn't done that.
So in comes Ignacio Garcia Ayora over the line. The Spanish rider goes through inside the top 10, 7th position as he goes in through some good splits on the way down, but not enough to challenge for top spot. Yannick Beishoff of Switzerland now, the 2021 Swiss champion. Another rider with plenty of time on course.
Yeah, you would think so, right? But very solid qualification. Yeah, I mean, it's just fair to say. We know that had some training camps here, but it was open for anyone. It's not really like they had any special treatment.
So what can he do coming down in towards split number 1? Into that left-hand turn. The clock will stop as he goes through. He's up. Look at this. 0.443. Nicely done. He's really moving. Now he's joining further down the course, coming through 52 kilometers an hour on the speed check.
He's got a flat. Oh, that's so devastating for a local rider. Oh,
he was so close as well. So split 1, he was up. He was right there. So split 1 up by half a second, the same. In fact, increased his lead at split 2, but then 0.3 down at split 3, then 2 seconds at split 4, 5 seconds slower with a puncture. As we see Austin Dooley drop it in here.
Yeah, super consistent on the domestic series back home. Great multiple use national podiums. This man can ride a bike. Looking nice and neat and tidy at the top. You've got to have so much aggression there on that first split. They're trying to keep the wheels on the ground just to get traction, pump a little bit, and then get some braking. So sneaking here. Tight line there, neat.
So through checkpoint 4 down at 9 seconds on the race leader. Not going to challenge for top spot. Can he come inside of 10 seconds? That clock is ticking. He's just about holds 10 seconds. There, 15th position for Dooley as he comes in through the line. As we see Rory Kirk from South Africa in the start hub.
Yeah, your current South African national champion. He's really been doing great at the World Cup series, but obviously it's a bit of a challenge with only 30 going through to finals, but he's really been so close to making their finals. Great talent we have out of South Africa.
And we've talked about inspiration and inspirational riders, and we've talked about Greg Minnaar and those riders who really have inspired generations. You see that coming through with so many generations of riders making their way through, the scene really building as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they would have seen what Greg was able to do. For me, I mean, that was one of the biggest inspirations, seeing someone on the world stage. You believe you can do it. You believe you can make it all the way from South Africa against the world's best if he can do it. So great to see Rory here in a World Championship final, and he can take some lessons there, take some notes, and he can build from that.
So as Rory comes through, looks at his time, Luca Thurlow, the next man to leave the start hut here in Champéry. What can the rider from Great Britain do here? Start critical, he's got to carry that pace, that speed down. It's a fine line all the way down here. Every single millimetre will count, every placement of that wheel, every decision in terms of line choice. Sounding smoother.
He does. He really has a great riding style. You can see him hopping, sort of trying to get high. Yeah, and he's up at the first foot. Yeah, I really like his technique on the bike. It's smooth, consistent, stylish. I think he's gone with a no-glove tactic as well, like Sam Blenkinsop used to do. I don't know how they hold on. My hands just get too sweaty.
Well, look at this. He comes through with that fastest time. He was up at split 1, down at split 2, but then he pulled it back. And some. Luca Thurlow takes the fastest time so far. 3 minutes, 6 seconds. 3:06.401. In fact, 7.22 of a second quicker than Finn Bruins of the Netherlands, who's now into second place, with Jacob Jurt of Canada into third.
Yeah, Gonzalo flying the South American colors here in Champéry, whipping it out for the fans. You can hear the chainsaws, you can hear the vibe. Oh, it's such a bobsleigh at the top. It's really cool to see. So not many lines here in the first sector, and then this is where it starts getting interesting into the first steep bit.
You can see the crowds back in the side here, all the way in through the woods, right the way down to the bottom, which is where we join the man from Argentina. Down a few seconds each time, losing 1 and 2 at each of the time checks. It totals 6.6. His losses to Luca Thurlow. It's still a great position, though, for Gajosh of Argentina. Comes in 8th place, ahead of Henry Kerr. Going to be an interesting one to watch the Irishman down here.
No, it certainly is. He's got some great riding technique. Can he push it, though? Can he get committed? Can he just find that extra race speed? That's what you need today. World Champs is like no other event. You don't need to worry about the overall. You don't need to technically worry about your body, because if you're willing to risk it today, it could change your career. Wow! Got a little bit late on that drop, but it didn't freaking hold him back.
It didn't, and I'll tell you something, what he's up at the moment is up by fractions of a second. We're going to see if he can continue to push all the way down to the finish. Here he goes.
This looks
he's
good.
Down quick, he's in quick. It's 1.233 ahead of Luca Thurlow of Great Britain. So Ireland now holding the hot seat there. And a great shot there of the drive chain on the bike. Really different for people not into their bikes, but a massive change, isn't it?
Or the lack of drive chain with the gearbox.
Well,
and the
yeah,
belt
maybe let's rephrase that, drive belt.
Yeah.
It's a very different tech. Maybe we'll go into that a little bit later, because it definitely changes how the bike rides as well. Kaya Hearn now for Australia, qualified in 57th spot. Is Hearn on the kind of season that's going to see him up there?
Yeah, Kaya Hearn's interesting one. You know, he's a former junior world champion. I think he's got a lot of talent, a lot of skill. He's just had some years that just haven't clicked in the elite category. I still think he's got the potential. You know, sometimes you just lose a bit of that confidence, and it takes you a year or two to fight back to where you believe you belong.
And once you've been there as a junior, you know you can do it. But then in some ways that pressure makes it even harder when you move into those.
Yeah, a lot of expectations.
Right,
you're totally right. So where's this going to put him as he comes to the finish line? Yeah, 5 seconds back, slots him into 6th position in Champéry. So he will be, I would say, it's going to drift back as the day goes on. A little bit of disappointment's going to sit in there. So
Davide Capello of Italy on to the race run now, currently down in the hot seat. Henry Kerr. 3:05 the time to beat Luca Thurlow in second place at 1 second, 1.233 of a second back. Finn Bruins, the third of the riders on those seats down in the arena. Will Capello depose them? Will he be able to replace the bike cell with those hot seats from Skoda? We will see. Into that right-hand turn, he's down, and that is quite a margin at this level of competition on the first split.
Yeah, I mean, you can just say that's lack of intensity. If you're going to drop over a second at the first split where there are not many lines, you're not fatigued yet. You know, you really don't have many excuses to the first split. You can start, you know, using some excuses as we get down to the lower slopes.
Did you have them ready?
Oh, I had many ready, that's for sure, yeah.
So Capello heading to the finish in the blue of Italy. Goes in through the line, 24th today, and time for him shake of the head, and certainly looking like he's been down
crash,
there. Yeah, right hand shoulder, right elbow, looking like they've certainly hit the floor. As we see Julian Steiner from Germany, next of our riders, first of the rider inside the top 100 in the UCI rankings.
Yeah, a little bit of a German veteran here for us, European Cup regular, so that's nice to see. I was just thinking of a story where sometimes you know you're not going to do well on a certain track, and then I happened to get a flat tire as well. So it was a sigh of relief because I knew I wasn't going to get a result even if I had a good run. You just sometimes are not feeling it. Just is what it is.
Some days it just doesn't work well. Yeah. Today, not quite at full race pace of the race leaders, Julian Steiner, but still handling this track on the way down. We join him on the lower slopes on the final run in here. This has seen a number of riders come adrift from the track. It is one of the areas that's caught riders out as they push hard into the finish, throwing everything in oxygen with the lactic acid built, with them right on the limit, however, in and through. Next rider, another of our Canadian riders. Will he be able to match Jewett's time? Will he go ahead of his countryman? Jewett at the moment in 4th position. Henry Sherry on his way down.
Yeah, the 20-year-old, you know, gaining some international experience, hasn't done many elite finals at all here at the World Championship. So this will be an interesting challenge. Can he deal with the pressure? Can he deal with the moment?
So Sherry's time, he's just gone outside of the time of Kerr. It's almost a second here, and it shows you how close the racing is on that top split. 19 riders within a second, if not 20 riders now within a second on the way through. Sherry goes through. His time takes him into 12th position. Not able to match the time of Jacob Jewett, who's the leading Canadian, currently in 4th position. As we see another Canadian up at the top here, this is Dane Jewett. Jewett on his way down. Can he match the pace of Jacob? Will he be able to take the top spot from Henry Kerr?
Oh, you can see the intensity. He's trying to pump every bump already, trying to get late on the brakes here. So this is what it's going to look like, especially later in the field. You've got to give it all at that first split.
And that pumping, that using absolutely everything. Nice dive across. So we've just seen him jumping into that as you come off those doubles.
And it's paid off.
Look
0.5 up,
yeah.
Right?
You've got to really commit, and I think that's where we see that increase in pace. It's showing on those sections. Here we go, Danger on his way down. It's going to be close. It's no closer, but not quite enough to take the lead. He will be into second place there. So Danger into second, pushing Luca Thurlow into 3rd. All the riders down so far, trailing Henry Kerr. Kerr of Ireland, a 3:05.
And Vieira coming off a huge street race win. And I would say if you can get down a street race and take one of those wins, you're definitely one of the most fearless guys on a bike. So that's not going to be what's stopping old Mr. Doug Ferreira here today.
Well, that racing, the commitment, given what you've got around, you don't have that same level of planning. It's not the same track. It's not, you know, it's just not natural. And yet he made it look almost easy, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
So Vieira comes through at checkpoint number 4, taking the high line around there. Heading into the finish, that little pause, just dropping in. Nearly 10 seconds down that split for it's going to mean the Brazilian won't be challenging, I think, here for that top 10 position. He's 17th position now, so increasingly those riders coming in inside 10 seconds, but further and further down those rankings. As Sam Gale now ready for his race start.
So the impressive youngster from New Zealand. I always love watching this guy ride. Often not with a lot of support from the industry, but he can do some incredible times, had some great results, some fantastic results at the Crankworks World Series as well. You see him at events like Hardline. Yeah, he's a really gifted rider, and I'm just waiting for him to spark one of these big events.
And given that crankworks and riding on the hard line are all events that require, well, the things that Danny Hart showed back in, 2011. It's a sort of run that should suit him.
Yeah, absolutely so.
Well, he's going to go through. He's not going to be quite on the pace here today. Sam Gale through in 6th position. At the moment, those top 3 still holding. Kerr in 1, Dane Jurt in 2, and Thurlow in 3. Brun's in 4, and Jacob Jurt in 5. So our next Canadians in the Canadians packing the race field here today. Jonathan Helly on the center gets it. Oh!
He's made a mistake so early on. I was just about to say he had a really solid qualification in 35th. You could see him pushing, which you have to. You've got to risk a mistake like that. It's the finals of the world champs. You don't want to get down to the bottom and feel like you left any time up there.
And now he's got to get himself back.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if that was intentional, but it almost looked like he had one of the tightest lines into that steep section.
Still throwing everything at it, despite that early issue. The clock of the time of our leading rider already has gone past. Well, I think we're riding at 4 fast times through those sections. You can see Jonathan Helly giving away 11 seconds there to the fastest time so far of Henry Kerr. As Ethan Craig of Great Britain, our next rider down.
Yeah, and you forget how young Ethan is. He had a storming end to the season in 2024 and 2023. He's got some multiple podiums on the World Cup stage. Just not quite the season he was hoped. But they are on that new Gambler. They are loving that bike. Ethan did not push as hard as he had hoped in the qualification because he had a huge crash before that.
Well, let's see what he could do here. This is looking good. He's 0.769 up here. So he's up. It's not quite a second at this stage of the first split. He's down through split 2, 3.
Oh, he's going to smash the time.
Look at that. 3.354. He goes into first place at the moment. And new leader going into that central hot seat. Ethan Craig, he knows he's putting a great ride there. Much closer to that 3-minute mark, 3:01.814. As Roger Vieira, the 31-year-old, the Brazilian, onto the course. Great ride by Ethan Craig there, but next rider already on the way down.
And I have to admit, I got the 2 twins wrong. I got so excited. Roger Vieira took the huge win at the street race. But they're both Brazilian. They both ride street races. They are not scared of anything. A padded tree is a little safer than concrete walls. Oh, and he's up. He is building on that confidence since that win. I can see it in his riding, even in Leger. After he came back from that street race win, it's incredible to see what momentum can do for a rider. Losing a lot of time, though, compared to Ethan on the technical slopes up in Champéry.
Well, that clock ticks on now, and because that new leading time from Ethan Craig, a 3:01.814, pushing all the rest of the riders down. Henry Kerr into second place, Dane Jurt into third, Lucas Thurlow now into fourth with Finn Brown's long-time leader into fifth position. Roger Vieira slotting in to ninth place at the moment as Simon Snevsted on the way down here. The rider from Norway into that right-hand turn. We haven't seen many issues there, many mistakes there. Just 1 or 2 riders getting it wrong. Not so quick through here, though. The fast riders, they're going on that double drop-off, almost using the side like a berm.
Yeah, definitely. You're trying to get the wheels on the ground as quick as you can and avoid those big, harsh bottom outs because they sap your energy and then you bounce again. So, yeah, well spotted there. You're going to see that different sort of technique from some of the top riders here. But, adding some nice Norwegian flavor to the broadcast here, it's really cool to see. That's world champs in a nutshell, isn't it?
It is. Riders from across the globe coming and competing on the biggest stage on one of the most iconic tracks in downhill. And all the way from New Zealand, James McDermott.
Yeah, another youngster from New Zealand. What a strong nation in downhill as well. We saw it in the junior category with Tyler Wade taking a second place. So really cool to see. They've got a strong history in downhill racing. And he's got some fan base out there as well on track. Oh, it's such a cool track to watch, isn't it? The bobsled smooth transitions. It's really cool.
Well, maybe a little too smooth, but not all that far out. 0.689 at the time check there. Though it's split 2, going to 1.8 seconds, split 3, nearly 4 seconds. He crosses the line, holds the pace on the lower sections there from splits 3 to 4 into the finishing line. It puts him into 4th place, so top 5 at the moment for James McDermott as he comes in to finish, but plenty more riders to come.
Oh, the exciting Australian youngster, only 21 years of age, on the Trek Factory Racing Squad alongside Lockie. These two riders on the Trek team have looked really good in practice. Great technique, super smooth, very good at hopping into the high lines and keeping out of the hole. So it's been nice to watch them. But can he translate that to aggression? Can he translate that to race pace? Yeah, nicely quick on the ground there. So within touch, 0.4 back of Ethan Craig. So he can be proud of that. But now this is where you got to get going, because Ethan was really good on the steeps of this track.
Craig with the fastest time at split 1, 3 and 4. The fastest time in the finish. It's close, but not close enough for 1.499. A second and a half down, puts Oliver Davis into second position. Henry Kerr down into third with Dane Jewett now moving outside the top 3. So Jackson through now on his way down, another Australian 2 in a row here as we move our way down. The first 40 riders almost done and dusted. The 40th rider to take to the race start through on his way down here. Heading to checkpoint number 1.
Yeah, he's known for his cornering ability. We saw a lot of him on the world stage for a couple of years, battling to get support, so we've been racing a lot more domestically lately, but it's nice to see him here at World Champs, coming back, giving it a good go against the top riders in the world.
And coming up, once through comes through, we should be seeing Dakota Norton on his way down in qualifying. A very, very fast run for him. He will be chasing through all the way down to the line, looking to make up time on the Australian. The rest of that race field, about 5 riders away from the Enduro World Champion, Richie Root Jr. He's going to be heading down very shortly, but we are up with Dakota Norton. Known for taking different lines, a fantastic rider to watch, always entertaining.
Yeah, now almost a veteran of the sport at the age of 33. But what's so impressive is he had the most horrific injury, motorbike crash in the off-season. For him to even be back riding is one thing, but to be at pace at the world level, and he's not physically as strong as he wants to be, coming off a 6th place at Andorra in 2025. I mean, it's just unheard of for him to come back and be at pace already. And he's on pace here against Ethan.
Very, very close to 0.035, so nothing to choose between them. The blink of an eye separating the time for Craig from Norton. Norton, who qualified 10th fastest on the way down. His qualifying time for Norton, a 3:09. He's going to go much quicker at the moment, and he's quicker than everybody else coming through split 4. It's nearly 2 seconds up on Ethan Craig. Craig surely can see that this bit. Boy, clips the post at the side there. The post goes flying. Norton takes to the air as he comes in towards the finish. Is it going to be a new fastest time? I don't think it slowed him down any. Here he comes. It is a new fastest time. 1.5 seconds quicker to go to Norton from the United States of America. He comes through the fastest time. Will it be enough? That's a big ask at this stage.
Yeah, but times are tumbling down, so we've already gone under that qualifying time of Jackson Goldstone. We have a lot of riders still to come. Norton did qualify in 10th, so that is signs of things to come.
So Luke Wayman from New Zealand on track, 31st in qualifying. You can see getting closer and closer to the fastest qualifying time of that time from Jackson Goldstone. The fastest time in qualifying at 3:02. We've already gone faster than that. The fastest time at the moment, that time from Norton that we just saw, 3 minutes and 0.298 of a second. The top 3 separated by 3 seconds, the top 2 by 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, incredibly tight racing already. It was always going to be bunched up. It was going to get tighter here now that the conditions are more consistent. Yeah, a little slow there on the exit speed. We should see guys going even higher to get better exit speed there come later in the race here. So 2.1 back of Dakota Norton. So awesome to see Dakota back at the pointy end of the field, but Luke Wayman promising young New Zealander here in Champéry.
And not really losing much time anywhere on the way down. A fraction of a second here or there. He's going to come through. It's going to be about 3 seconds now. No, not even that. He's done well. He's got a little bit more time back on that last section. Just starting to go quicker on the bottom section, maybe. Just seeing that, maybe just ride a little bit faster.
Yeah, we didn't even speak about Dakota Norton's high bars. You're going to see a lot more riders copy that, mimic that here on this style track. So the youngster from Italy on the Trek squad, he's had some incredible results as a junior. Very new to the elite field, just trying to find his feet, but he's got a really good technique on the bike. Tall, lanky rider. He can get that weight off the back, kind of steer with the back wheel. Yeah, goes for that wide outside line. A little bit easier to do that today in the dry. Within touch, 0.4 back. Nothing to be embarrassed about here. Into the steeps, rider's right section. Trying to hop out of those ruts.
Well, now just up in that midsection between splits 2 and down into split number 3. This is the really critical part of the track for the riders. Christian Hauser coming through still close at 1.4 seconds down at the moment. That will put him into second place. If he can hold that time, if he can improve that, he'll get close to Dakota Norton. I don't think he's going to get close enough, but 0.6, he's getting better. He's getting closer. Can he challenge? What can he do in this last section of track? Low down there of a pedal stroke in the air, then very quickly onto the power.
And Dakota left a little time out there here at the finish. Oh, close.
Oh, great ride there by Christian Hauser. I think he's pleased with that. Punches the air. Second place at 0.74. Down as we see the rider who's already taken one rainbow jersey here, one of the iconic World Championship jerseys. This is the 2025 Enduro World Champion, making his way down. I mean, it was a ferocious battle across all of the stages up at the Alish Arena, and showed he's clearly got form, he's got pace, he's got speed. Can he translate that onto the downhill bike here?
Yeah, big challenge to be multidiscipline here in 1 week, and he is within touch. He's up at the first split on Dakota's time. But Richie Rude is so impressive to be able to just endure one day and then jump back on the downhill bike when other riders are getting a bit more bike time than him. But he might have been a bit more fatigued earlier in the week, but I think now he would have rested up good. He's got through qualification. You just need to make the finals. Throwing away a lot of time compared to Dax, so that shows you how good Dax's time was. He's lost a lot of time in those steep technical woods.
So splits 2 to 3, where we've seen the time being lost by the current champion in Enduro, who took that title earlier on in this fantastic Mountain Bike World Championships for 2025. But no taking away from the fact that Richie Rude Jr. is such a phenomenal talent. He makes his way in here. He won't know how close he has been. He won't know that he was up at split 1. It could be a case of what could have been. He's close. But you can see 10th place now, 6 seconds down as he comes in through the line. That fastest time there. It's still Dakota Norton.
They're dropping fast and furious here today. Joe Breeden, rider as well as team owner and manager. That is an insane amount of workload. There's only a few guys in the pits can pull that off, Bernard Kerr being one of them. But he's had some of the best results of his career this year, so it's awesome to see Joe. And he's just bounced back from a knee operation as well. He didn't even think he would ride the rest of the season. Came back to Leger for a great result. Here he's in touch. This is so cool to see. Qualified in 23rd position. Here we see him on the lower slopes, opting to stay low there. A little bit late into that turn. You'll probably see people stay on the bank there later. Okay, respectable. He's only dropped 3.6 seconds here in the later parts of the Champéry. Steep and nasty turns here.
So split 3, 3.677 down on the race leader. Norton now goes through split 4. Still inside of 5 seconds. If he can hold that in towards the line, he's going to be coming in around about 5th or 6th position. Breeden on his way down. He'll have been a busy man in that break, unless he's got that delegation that team management absolutely doubt. He comes in through. Good run by him. He goes through into 7th place inside of 5 seconds of Norton's time. Good run. Well, next up, a man who knows what it's like to take a medal at a World Championship back in 2017, Aaron Gwynn.
Yeah, Aaron Gwynn, the most successful US downhiller of all time. 20. Oh, look at how high he stayed there. That's what we used to. Gwynn is always trying to take like the straightest, quickest line. He kind of brought that to downhill from the motocross line. He was super strong. But the World Championship medals, the gold medal has eluded him. He's never been able to win it. He's won 5 overalls to his name, but never the rainbow stripes. 38 years of age. Will he ever be able to put that on his resume?
Oh, it's the time surely is running out now. Never say never. Certainly for a rider like Gwynn, who we've seen putting some phenomenal runs. He's been a highlight of watching downhill decade after decade, really. And just today, not happening. 5 seconds down now at split 3.
I think it's awesome to see him here. I mean, he could have bowed out the sport with what he's achieved, what he's done at 38 years. Now to still come and throw himself down Champéry. He has not seen a lot of this track. He didn't get to do any pre-riding. That was his choice. But for sure, he said it was tough to get comfortable, get up to pace. It took him a little longer than he hoped. So, yeah, respectable ride here from Gwynn, but, you know, he definitely would have been hoping for more since it's dried out.
So Gwynn goes through just over 5 seconds down on Norton's time. We move from one rider from the United States of America to another. Dylan Maples now given away 16 years. 22.
No ways. Yeah,
That's
true.
the age
That's
difference.
crazy.
It's
That
crazy.
is the age difference.
That's the age of some of the juniors we were watching yesterday.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Dylan Maples got onto this team as a fill-in ride when a lot of the team riders were hurt and injury. Umri was out, but he really blossomed on this factory support. I'm very impressed with Dylan Maples. And look at that, within touch of Dakota Norton. He's had some incredible World Cup finishes and then went and broke his hand as far as I know this season. So he's already had an injury and had to rehab and come back. So I don't think he's at full health. Yes, that was really good. Got very high, good exit speed there. Will he be fatigued though, you know, dealing with not training as much as you were? Oh, maybe not. Look at that, within touch. He's up at the 3rd split.
Came up at split 2 to half a second. He held it at split 3 and at split 4. He's opened the gap back up again, even bigger. It's 0.6 of a second, but in a sport that can be decided by thousandths of a second, that's a huge margin. He's got to keep pushing all the way to the line. He goes low there. You can see cutting a little bit of the corner off on the back wheel over the line. 1 second quicker, 1.079 faster than Dakota Norton. New rider going into the hot seat. It's Dylan Maples. It's a United States 1 and 2 at the moment, with Christian Hauser in 3.
Really impressive ride there. He's definitely not at full health, I would not say, but that was a great ride on a challenging track.
Well, as Hauser is now moved from 2nd to 3rd place in those hot seats for Italy, Stefano Introsi at the moment. The next rider on to the course, he'll be followed by Daniel Castells Libero.
Man, it's frighteningly quick. You can see the conditions are tough there visually. You know, there's a lot of dapple light coming into the forest. That's going to be a challenge as the time goes on here for the later riders.
And that shift in the sun's position here in the outside, I mean, it could be the difference between night and shake weight. You know, day and night, literally, as you go through. It's so bright in that sunshine, the sun blazing down. There's hardly a cloud in the sky. And yet in the shade, it really is very, very dark.
Yeah, some of the riders, I saw Loic was testing a different lens today. It's trying to just sort of help with the contrast of so bright and so dark.
At the moment, our camera's having to deal with those same conditions at split number 4. Introsi of Italy losing time. It's going to push him down those standings. Well, in past the chainsaws that surround the riders on the way down here in Champéry. Within 9 seconds of our race leader. Well, multiple-time Spanish champion on his way down here.
Another super young rider in our field today, gaining some international experience here at the World Champs. Biggest stage in downhill mountain bike. Nice and high there on the bank. Wow, that was cool. I like to see that. Going for that wide line, sort of pre-hopping in. Neat, no, very neat riding. He's within touch of Dylan Maples at the first split. Very aggressive riding. Now he tones it down a little bit into that steep section.
Well, a great shot as he came down there, but losing time now. 4 seconds down at split number 3. Losing that time, the majority of it between split number 1 and split number 2. Unusual to see that happen there. But taking those different lines, maybe just costing him a little bit.
Yeah, we didn't quite get to see it. As you said, he's lost 3 seconds, but they maintained it almost from split 2 to split 3. So nice ride, super solid here from the Spaniard.
So the final push in through, keeps it low. Good ride, 7th place for the Spanish rider as they come in through. So Maples in 1, Norton in 2, Hauser in 3, Craig in 4, Wayman in 5, Davis in 6, Castellos Libero into 7th place with that ride as we go back up to the top of the hill here in Champéry. Let's just say part way up the mountain. Jackson Connolly on his way down, heading for, well, it's just going in towards split number 1. Not that far away. To say he wasn't necessarily taking what seems to be the fastest lines through that section just before the checkpoint. He's not lost that much time there.
No, not too much. Just 0.7 back. This is obviously going to be testing here. Can he hold that sort of gap from someone like Dylan Maples? But, you know, he doesn't have as much international experience as someone like Dylan Maples. Dylan Maples has really, really shown a lot of potential, and he's delivered, you know, with a lot of pressure of a factory team on his back.
Just watching him go around those rocky turns, making his way down to split number 4. He goes through that, 6.5 seconds down on our race leader, Jackson Connolly of Australia, here at the World Championships for 2025 here in Champéry in Valais in Switzerland. He's going to come down into the arena that's been decked with Swiss flags. The Australian comes in. Job done today. Well, the riders looking on from that hot seat. Maples, Norton and Hauser. Dylan Maples will be wondering how long. The only rider to break that 3-minute barrier at 2:59.215 as we await the next rider to drop in. One of the crowd's favourite and certainly a great rider to watch. Finn Isles due down in amongst the next raft of riders. Former champion Charlie Hatton, who we were talking about, he's down within the next 10 or so riders. So is Danny Hart as well. Now we'll see how those riders go. At the moment, though, you can see the results on your screen. Don't forget, you can catch up with the full results, all the links to Valais, to the World Championships on the UCI website. That's www.uci.org. And don't forget to catch up on social media. It is at UCI_mountain bike as well. As you can see, this fantastic playground of the Alps that is home to so much mountain bike is home to the World Championships for 2025, the downhill race route here. A fantastic job done by the course builders, and we did talk about the work that they've done, the effort that they put in, the way that the course has also been open for a lot of people to practice and to ride on, to really bed that course in. It means it's a very level playing field, or more level than maybe you find normally with only a few select riders on there. Now, a rider who everybody's looking to take away an elite title at one point in the near future. Finn Isles on his way down.
Yeah, one of the biggest talents in our sport, but this is a year he's going to want to forget. Unfortunately, he's been riddled with injury. Had a slipped disc in the off-season, so didn't get the preparation needed. And then it came back and bit him again. So he just hasn't had the bike time. But there we go, up at the first split, 0.5. But you only need one race to turn a season around. And this is the world champ. He doesn't have to worry about the overall. Doesn't have to think about how bad the season is. This is the race that can just turn it around.
He's got no worries about that overall in the World Cup. He's looking. This is it. This is what counts. One race, one hit. Do the job here today. Up at split 1 by 0.5 of a second. Up at split 2 by what is going to be. Is he up? Surely he's up. Yes, he is.
Oh, that's impressive because he hasn't had
good.
a lot of race time. He hasn't had a lot of racecraft. You know, every time you miss a race, the other riders are just incrementally getting better. They're pushing the limits. Subconsciously, they're going faster even in their practice runs. So this is very impressive to see him at this pace.
0.533 at split 1, at 0.286 at split number 2. We're in with him, that drone tracking him through this bridge here. The pilot's doing a great job of following the riders down. Modern technology can do all sorts of amazing things. Following our riders gives you a real indication of the speed that they're travelling down here. And this run in and then the braking once you come into this left turn, critical.
Yeah, it was really neat. Some of the riders might even stay higher. Okay, so lost a little bit of time there, but it's kind of no surprise. You know, he hasn't had as many races as any of the other guys that are at the top of the field at the moment. So frustrating season for him, but it happens in a guy's career. He's only 26 years of age. He's had incredible results till now, so he will be back, but just drifting a little bit back here on Dylan Maples.
And just losing that momentum between split 2 and 3, you lose the speed. Yes, you could, as you said, let off the brakes and let it build again. But there's a limit. You can get around the corners only so quick. You can pull so much speed out. He comes in and through. He's going to get a top 10 as he comes through the line. It's the 6th position for Finn Isles as he comes through. He'll take heart that he was up at splits 1 and 2. And class is permanent. Form might be temporary, but class is absolutely permanent and definitely one of our class riders.
Said.
So Ricky on the way down here. What can he do following Finn Isles? There'll be many riders' dream ride to go follow Finn Isles down a downhill run.
Yeah,
or to be capable of doing so.
Yeah, capable. But I mean, he's shown some incredible results, and it's such a talented rider from New Zealand. But really, sort of there's New Zealand carefree attitude as well. I don't know if he gets too stressed. Well, he doesn't really show it. So great style on the bike does Toyota Penne have. Obviously, he's had some incredible New Zealand results, and just finding his feet here in the elite ranks.
Well, not too far off the pace by the look of it. Just comes over that top of that rock slab turn. In towards the left-hand turn, in towards checkpoint. Split number 2 coming up here. Well,
really good through there.
Not far off, is he?
No, not far off. It was really good through the steep section. Just jumping off the stump, getting a backside into a turn, pumping, and then getting the high line. Okay, drifting a little bit further back now. Between split 2 and split 3, that is where all the heavy riding is. That's where the steep bits are. That's where the technical line choices are. That's where fatigue is also going to set in. Oh, huge gap onto the bank there. We did say he's a fan favorite, great riding style. Young New Zealand here in Champéry. Oh, going deep on the roller there, pushing hard to the finish. If you push to the finish and you can have a really good last split, you can make up a lot of time.
So 9th place for the rider from New Zealand as he comes through 5.940 down. At the moment, fastest time that's set by Dylan Maples of the United States of America. The only rider inside 3 minutes, 2 minutes 59.219 seconds. What can Loris Ravelli of Italy do? Can he challenge that time?
Oh, a little bit nose heavy there, just carrying more pace than he ever has into that jump here. This is World Champs. You're going to do some crazy things if you want to have a result here today. You've got to be willing to risk it, potentially have a crash. So into the steeps. Most of the riders are going to that rider's right line. It's more bed in, it's more hard pong, it's more consistent.
And as a rider, you're looking at key sections and you focus on those more than maybe some of the rest of the course. You're breaking it down to that level of detail in each individual section.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a plan in place. You've been doing it in practice. Everything from where to brake, where to shift gears. And then it's sometimes these sections that people are not focusing on, which you can make a lot of time. You know, the simpler looking sections where you need to carry really good exit speed. That's where the world's best get ahead. They're able to really strategize where to brake, where to pedal, and get that momentum.
So Ravelli coming through split number 3, 8 seconds, nearly 9 seconds down, making his way to a wall split 4. You can see our next riders coming up include 2 of our previous world champions, 3 titles between them, Charlie Hatton and Danny Hart. Not far off from dropping down the slopes here at Champéry into towards the finish arena that's packed at the moment. People all the way up the hillside here. Ravelli in, takes that to the left-hand turn, using the berm to get around the corner, pedal stroking, and then over the line, 25th as he comes across the line here today. Maples, Norton, Hauser, Craig, and Wayman, your top 5 at the moment. Henry Kiefer on his way down now. This is a rider who could well challenge, rolling really well at the moment, multi-time German champion.
Yeah, and I don't think he pushed that hard in qualification, so he was happy with the 7th, but he's really broke onto the scene this year, you know. Getting a podium at Leogang early in the year, I think, just boosted his confidence, make him believe, like, you often know you can be there, but you need to see it sometimes. Wow, going for that high line. This is quick. This is very quick. He's almost a second up already. So, oh, my goodness.
1 second up. It is a .963 at split number 1. Surely he's going to be able to build on that momentum. Look at him. He's absolutely fine now. It looks so smooth as well.
Look very impressive in practice.
Around at all, is he?
No, very composed. Look very committed, very focused from the first day practice. You saw a few riders had to ease into it, but not Kiefer. And he's up, 1.8 up. This is no surprise. Interesting line there. That we didn't see the end of it. That was a really short way to do that line. And that was something only a few riders were doing earlier in the week. Oh, and he's extended 3.2 up now. This is an epic run from Henry Kiefer.
So what can the German do in those last sections here? He needs to build on this. He wants to set down a time that will withstand the challenges to come afterwards. He's on his way down here inside the last 30 runners to sell from the top of the hill. He'll want to be sat in that hot seat. They all want it. Can he do it though? Here he comes. He's going to do it, and in style. 3 seconds at the line. You could see the face of Dylan Maples as the rider from Germany came through the line. Henry Kiefer goes in and through. Takes away the fastest time so far. One of only 2 riders inside of 3 minutes. He wasn't just inside. He slammed the door behind him. 2:56.099.
Huge run by Henry Kiefer. No surprise there. 7th in qualification. Stood on a World Cup podium earlier this year. He's high on confidence.
David Palazzari, the next rider to hit the course, coming from Italy. Our riders due to get quicker and quicker. Palazzari inside the top 30 in terms of ranking, 28th best rider in the world at the moment on those UCI rankings that rank the riders. Different line, goes really high. That, and for me, that very high line up at the top there above the wooden reinforcing the course there, just that little bit slower, drop right into that drop off into that dip, you lose time as well. It seems to be the middle line there that is quickest and is producing those times that are taking away that fastest time, losing a little bit of time at split number 1. We're coming down to split number 2 at split 1, 1.6 seconds down. What's he going to do as we come in towards split number 2? Oh, nearly 5 seconds.
Oh man, you can see how good that line was from Kiefer. He was really far inside. He was able to go way shorter than someone like Palazzari. So a little bit of an error there from Palazzari as well. He's just losing time the whole way down. It's just not the run he was looking for.
And is every rider aware of every line? They surely aren't. There's going to be some lines that the riders are going to keep amongst their teammates and amongst themselves. And if they get spotted by other people, they do. But you're not just going to share every line with everybody, no matter how much of a big family mountain biking is.
No, you're definitely not. But it's just more challenging than ever with all the line spotters on track. Back in the day, yeah, you could hold some lines back and just ride them in finals, but not anymore.
So Palazzari, 18th position as he crosses the line. That no doubt will change as we see our riders make the way in through the 2025 Contender champion from Europe. It's the course Simon Chapelet of France.
Yeah, Champéry's been really impressing everyone this year. He's been in most, if not all, the finals. You know, he's just showing such good speed, composure, and as you said, our 2025 European downhill champion. There's some big names that he took down there. Okay, within touch, 0.6 back at the first split. But that shows he is committed. I mean, Kiefer was on fire. So this would be a good test to understand, like, where is Kiefer's run going to put us with how fast Champéry has been this year.
So Champéry well on his way down here, takes that right-hand turn, 109 on the clock at the moment, taking that left turn, coming in towards checkpoint number 2. 1.7 down, it's not huge, but on this track today, it's enough. Heading for checkpoint 3 now.
Yeah, that's a statement, though. That's interesting to see that Kiefer's put that much time into someone that is on form at the moment and is good on a track like this.
So Champéry at the moment losing time, that time by Henry Kiefer, 2:56.099. A fast run, really, really quick on the way down, fastest at every split at this stage. And although other riders have taken top spots as they've come through, they've not necessarily been the fastest rider across the whole course. Kiefer nailing together a complete run, taking away top spot. Good run by Champéry, and he's going to go into 3rd position. The Frenchman in 3rd place. Then it's the United States rider, the rider who held the top spot before Kiefer. Dylan Maples in 2nd. Henry Kiefer of Germany taking top spot as we see Charlie Hatton hitting the slopes. One of those riders that we quizzed Andrew Niesling beside me on taking a home win. Can he take away another world title?
Yeah, no stranger to the rainbow stripes.
No.
Potentially come as a surprise to some when he won that, but definitely not for me. He's so good on a bike, so strong, very neat rider. You're not often going to see a lot of big mistakes from him. So, oh man, that just shows you what Kiefer was doing on that first split. He's already almost a second back. So chatted to him earlier before the race run. He did say conditions were a lot better. They are enjoying it more. It's a lot more consistent. You can actually push. It wasn't as greasy as it was yesterday in qualification. So, but that's the thing. It's a gamble. How hard are you going to push? Because you still got to guess what parts are drying. Really nice, neat line there on the inside in the steep option section.
So Charlie Hatton maybe just needing to have pushed a little harder in those early sections. Was so much easier said than done when the world's best now losing time. 3 seconds down at split number 2. Hit split 3 now, nearly 5 seconds down. The former world champion Hatton had to remember the weather was somewhat different in Glasgow. It had rained, it would be greasy, it would be much wetter on the way through. Making his way down here in towards split 4. Still losing time, 6 seconds now.
Yeah, drifting back. I mean, for Kiefer to put this much time into a man of former world champion of Hatton just shows you what he's willing to risk out there. So this is interesting. I'm not sure if everyone had Henry Kiefer on their fantasy league, but if you were paying attention this year, this comes as no surprise to see a fast run like that.
Yeah, you'll be doing well in the league now. The legendary run of Danny Hart way back in 2011, twice world champion to the championship, also in 2016 in Val di Sole, where we are going to be heading back to for the 2026 world championships. What can Danny Hart do on a course that he must absolutely love?
Oh, the multiple world champion. Danny, we all know he is not allowed to sit down today. He couldn't even physically be able to, thanks to Rob Warner, Nigel Page, one of the most famous runs ever in downhill. But the conditions were just polar opposites. It's going to be more challenging for Danny today in the dry compared to the wet. And it's a lot of pressure to have on his shoulders. Everyone's talking about that run. Everyone says he suits the track. You know, that's a lot for him to deal with.
He suits the track in the right conditions, and I think that's the thing. And it was his day, it was his run. He's not, he's not miles away. But Danny Hart clearly wasn't feeling that pressure in qualification. Watched him come in down through the finish, and I think he probably got the most air on the final jump in of anybody in qualification. You know, he absolutely just sent it on that last jump in. clearly not feeling the pressure too much, but unfortunately not on the pace, not the conditions. Had we seen a repeat of those 2011 conditions where it was raining when it's pouring, we may have seen Danny closer to the time. Still having a good season, but not where he wants to be.
Yeah, he'll be the first to say it's just not the season that we all expect from him. It really is not much reason for it. Just is what happens in our sport. There's just so much depth of talent. So, Danny Hart, you got to stay on your bike, mate. You're almost at the finish here. Oh, it is just, must be proud for him to come back, deal with a lot of that pressure. So, Danny Hart, not reigning, but multiple world champion, finishes his run here.
Well, no big whip up and sending it over that last jump. He wanted to get a quick time, and he goes into what is 11th place behind Oliver Davis, who holds that 10th position as Oliver Svar of Sweden on to the race run. And when we see him world champions, we've just seen Svar onto the course. Now, you've got world champions going off in front, you've got riders in front of you waiting in that start hut, like Danny Hart, like Charlie Hatton. You've got to feel inspired. You are there with the world's best. They've proved themselves the world's best.
Yeah, you are. But I mean, you want to beat them as much as anyone else. So you see them all week, you see them all year. You know, you've really got to try to block that out and just focus on your own process in that start line. You shouldn't even really be aware of who's around you rider-wise. So Oliver Zwart's had some really consistent runs this year, really impressive, you know, with the new format adding a lot of pressure to these top riders. He's been getting in the finals a lot. Looked like he almost went over the bars there as we switched camera angles. Take a little bit of breath here. This is where you can really push, goes deep there. Then you're going to hop back up on the high line again, and then you're going to drop back in. Challenging to get your braking point correct there.
At the moment, 6 seconds, the difference between our leaders, and the ride being done here by Oliver Svar in Sweden, making his way down towards the arena, which is erupting at the moment. It's time. The riders arrive down here at the finish. So Svar at the moment from Sweden down underneath the arch. The time already gone by of Henry Käfer, the 2:56. It'll be just outside 3 minutes here. 7 seconds down for Svar of Sweden. That puts him into 11th place as the rider waiting in the start hut. A top 10 rider in qualification, Antoine Piron, hits now for France. What can Piron do here? Good riding qualification. Came through in 90, gave away what was just shy of 7 seconds, 6.7 seconds on the run by Jackson Goldstone in qualification. But condition, it's drying more and more, and this is final stage. This is when it really counts.
Yeah, maybe being a little bit overshadowed by being Anne-Marie Piron's brother, but he's just so talented in his own right. I think it's just taking a little bit longer to get comfortable at the lead stage, but he's had some great results this year already. And 9th place in qualification at World Champs is something you can build from. So can he push it to that next level, which you have to do in these sort of race conditions?
So Piron, what can he do? We're coming to the first time check. Oh, and he's lost a lot of time on the way through there.
So beautiful scenes here in Champéry as you make your way to these last ones. Big jump there, gaps, but then he drifts a little bit low and then has to sort of snake back up. So he'll lose a little bit of time there with being that aggressive. Yeah, and he's dropped 2 more seconds in that big sector. Nice and neat around there, though. So the Frenchman gaining experience in elite ranks, learning a lot from his brother Anne-Marie. But he really is an incredible racer in his own right.
And the French seem to be very good at this. I mean, you know, brothers who both race together, who are phenomenal riders, who spur each other on, support each other. We've seen Antoine Piron now come in through 5th position for him. 4 seconds, just over 4 seconds down on the fastest time set by Henry Käfer. Käfer was faster by a couple of places in terms of position when it came to qualification, stays above Piron. Antoine Piron as they come into the finish. So Kaifer at the moment leading from Maples and Champéry. They are your 1, 2, 3 here at the moment. You can see the time on your screen. It's a big gap from Kaifer to Maples. It's over 3 seconds, and then it gets closer. We are going to see riders come down challenging that time. It would be a shock if he could hold on right the way to the finish. All the riders that are coming down, we've got Martin Mays on his way very shortly indeed, 13th in qualification, but a rider who, you know, the Belgian rider could pull it out here. Pinkerton put in a great qualifying. You've got Theron, as you said earlier on, legendary riders like Troy Brun, riders like Ronan Dunn, who spent pretty much what seems to be, I think, pretty 50% of his time riding down the hill and the rest of it on the gondolas on the way back up again. And then you're going into riders like Vergier, defending champion, into Bruni, into Goldstone. Those last 3 going to be phenomenal to watch. But 3 great rides so far, taking our top 3 spots as we move down.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the pointy end of the field now, but I mean, if you think about the time gap that Keith has put into the likes of Dylan Maples and Champéry, who are capable of incredible results themselves, they're no slouches on a downhill bike. I think that shows you where that run is going to end. He's going to be there close to the end, rivaling it potentially for a medal, because you must remember these guys are going to push. There are some of the top riders that are unfortunately potentially going to make mistakes or have a small crash, because Rainbow Stripes, you've got to push almost over the limit because another rider next to you is willing to do that.
So who will be prepared to gamble? Got to remember Goldstone coming off the back of what was a disappointing 20th place. Bruni, 4th place, not on the podium either. Very different conditions. So Ligier. Our next rider to start, Martin Mays, a rider who is sitting currently 9th place in the standings. Really coming into form of late. Whilst he got 10th place in the first round of the season, the last 3 rounds of the World Cup, a 6th and a 4th and a 2nd. Martin Mays, he's got the momentum. He's heading in the right direction.
No, he absolutely is. And from what I'm hearing, he's kept flat pedals on. I'm not sure if he's done it all the way to the finals. But, you know, it worked for him, Ligier. He's come off an incredible podium in Ligier. He's such an all-round rider, as we mentioned, someone like Richie Rude. So, you know, Martin Mays, once he's found like the click of downhill now, he said he battled with the bike setup for a while, but once he got the balance of the bike, you know, he's pretty comfortable with the racecraft of downhill, having to push at 100, 105%.
And for those people who are maybe not into mountain biking, not got the history, flat pedals not clipping in. It's where we used to be. It's not really where we are now. It's a long time between podiums for flat pedals, which is still a thing, unbelievably, in 2025. We're still seeing riders still getting a podium with flat pedals. And on a course like this, not going to be that much of a disadvantage, surely.
No, I mean, back when we came here in 11, a lot of us riders were practicing and switching to flats because you can lean better, you can dab a foot. But it is very tough when it gets this dry and the bumps are really harsh to keep your pedals on. Feet on the pedals, so potentially advantages in some places and a big disadvantage in others. If it was wet, I would say flats was definitely the choice to go for it for some riders that are confident. But some people don't remember it's actually a skill in its own to ride flat pedals. You can't just switch on because the conditions may suit them.
And so many coaches, so many people, you know, will tell riders, ride with flats, learn, you know, if you want to learn how to bunny hop, if you're just starting out, you want to get those basic skills, do it on flats first, get the skills down first on flats, and then transfer, because you can pick up a lot of bad habits having clippers.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, nice highlight. That's somewhere where the flats are going to help, you know. You can be more confident in the off-camber. Really neat section there. Drifting back in time, though, man. That's just what a run. We're going to keep saying it like we have in other categories. When someone comes down early and puts down a storming time. Oh, little bobble there. Just got a little bit too weight heavy on the front. Martin Mays doing it for the flat pedal thunder here. One of the last riders in the field to attempt that. Coming off a podium last week. Not quite going to be able to do that this week. Into the finish. Bowl here in Champéry. The fans are starting to go crazy. We have 19 riders left after this.
So through goes Martin Mays. Not a repeat of that podium that he took in Leger, but still a neat run on the way down. A couple of places where it was an advantage beyond flats, but irrespective of what, Pedals a really talented rider, and great to see him absolutely throw it. And that little error there on the rocks, just showing that, you know, it's a really famous thing. You can still make those mistakes anywhere on the course, no matter how much of a world-class rider you are. So Nathan Pompion of France, another of our younger riders here.
He's really been impressing people on the World Cup circuit this year. A lot of people in the fantasy leagues have been picking him because his rank coming into the year wasn't that high. But now, as you see, 22nd in the UCI World Ranking, he's raced up that with incredible finishes in the World Cup Series. What a talented French rider. He's still so young as well. Oh, and he's within touch. He's 0.2 off keeper. Nice and tight there into the steeps. Very committed. I like that. Hopping out of the rut, keeping his momentum. Okay, opting for the middle line. Yeah, he was a little late on that setup.
So the Frenchman heading in towards checkpoint number 1. What can he do? Can he challenge that fastest time? Fastest time at this checkpoint, 25.39 goes in through. Let's take a little bit of a check. How is it going to go? Oh, look at this, is absolutely fine. Checkpoint 1, not quite there. Checkpoint 2, also not quite in touch. Go with him into the woods. So Pompion just off the pace, but fractions of a second at a moment. I think it's going to be, we're going to get a double check as he comes in towards the next section, of course. Here, drops over the bridge, a little bit untidy through there. It looked just a little bit of a correction, maybe.
Yeah, he's quite a tall, lanky rider. It must be quite tough to get around that tight bridge, I must say. I feel like the small riders might have a little advantage on the bridge. So neat in there. Looked like he got his braking nice and early, hopped up, opened that turn. But yeah, he's just getting a bit of a lesson from Kiefer here on how to ride Champéry, unfortunately, because he's had such a good season. He's got the pace, but he's almost 5 seconds back at split 3. Yeah, it's an interesting time to come down if you're Kiefer. You qualified 7th, you know you got some of the tank, but you came down so early, it's not much pressure there at the top.
So in goes Pompion. You can hear the crowd going wild down here. Plenty of French supporters making the trip in and across. Not to be their rider taking away the hot seat at the moment with the German Henry Kiefer in there. Taller rider, little bit more arm and leg to throw about, a little bit more height, slightly higher center of gravity. Does it make that much difference on a steep course like that? Is it more of an effect when we got onto this steep course like Champéry?
I mean, maybe a little bit, but it's so fascinating downhill. You can be all shapes and sizes and do well. I think that's what makes the sport so unique and awesome.
So Laurie Greenland now onto the race route here, making his way around that right-hand turn. Greenland descends, takes the left, carries plenty of speed, just lets that log on the way down into the left here. What can he do? Can he challenge the time of Kiefer? He's a 0.447 off 4th place. Half a second will take you outside of the top 5 if you're not careful, even at such an early stage. Greenland, though,
hugely high up there.
Now, if he'd gone any higher, he'd grabbed hold of the cable car. That's, I mean, they're setting up for a corner, and they're setting up for a corner.
Yeah, no, that was impressive, but oh no, and that was not impressive. That is one of the toughest turns on the track. Ah, that looks sore as well.
Oh.
You have to commit, but it's basically a gamble because you're trying to ride across like flat, slick rock, and you have to let the bike slide, and then there's a little bit of hookup. And if you just get the weight wrong, you high side yourself. So that's a real bummer. He was one of the riders that was really creative with his bike setup, trying a different size bike, trying different bar heights, all these things, trying to get a setup that he felt he could push on.
And you can see now just choosing to come off to the side there. I think just a little bit of damage done. Just take a look, just being asked if he is okay, but going to be back on his way down there, just checking that the bike's okay. Last thing you want to do is cause a problem for the rest of the season, rest of your year, because you take a risk on a bike that's damaged.
Yeah, I just think he got took a big bang to the leg or calf there, you know, and that's going to just take the wind out your sails. So a real bummer for Laurie, you know. He's had some incredible results to his name in his career, and he's just having one of those seasons that you're just hoping for it to turn around, and every time you start pushing, you try, you have one of these unfortunate issues.
And he did that so early in the run there. He was 0.447 of a second down, sitting in 4th place as he came through split number 1. We then had that incident, and now he's got this whole run really to finish on his way down. It's still the quickest way down the side here in Champéry. He's given away the time. He's going to finish the run down to the base here, going through split 3, 30 some seconds down, 33 seconds down, I think. So, I mean, he's a long way off the pace. He's not going to feature. He will get in through that finish, but that's a lot of time to think.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the pressure's off that you don't have to go and complete the run, but it's not the most enjoyable run to ride when you're not pushing. Sometimes it's more difficult. You're hitting the bumps at a slower and weirder pace. It's actually really challenging to just get down this track. So, yeah, bummer for Laurie Green. And, you know, he's been through these ups and downs in his career, and he will bounce back.
Experienced rider, he'll have to put that behind him. Another experienced rider, as Andrew was saying earlier, Remy Theron on his way down here, one of our older statesmen at 35.
Yeah, and the only rider to have done all the races and all the World Championship. So he has the most experience on this track. Maybe they're not the most runs anymore. Ronan Dunn's going to take that prize. We'll say that a lot this year. But he self-admitted that did Dunn. But Remy Theron was one of my dark horses in terms of, yes, he's older. But if it had rained this race, he is so technically gifted. I mean, still in these conditions, this is where he excels. Coming off a 1st place qualification at Leger. The race didn't go his way. But I mean, he's got 2 kids, a family, 35 years of age, and he's still at the pointy end of this field. It's just remarkable to see.
Coming through split number 1, 2nd position, super close. Only 0.3 of a second down. What's it going to be here? Well, it's going to wait a little bit more time between split 1 and split 2. Still close, 1.881 of a second, but it's not close enough, I think. We're going to follow the legend that is Therion down through this section here, down past that UCI brand in there with those bands, reminding the riders all the way down here what's at stake, what they're racing for when they come down into the arena here, into this faster section of the drum, really giving a good indication of the pace of the riders.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a few riders that wouldn't have minded to rain, Remy Theron really would have been one of them. Oh, that is so difficult. I can't describe how difficult it is to stay high there for that long, and especially at that speed. Still falling away some time here. 3.4 back now for Remy. But to be fair, with the run Henry Kiefer has put in, he's still within touch of medal position here on the hot seats currently.
So 4 seconds down, currently in 4th position. Therion not that far off going into 3rd place. That Champéry 3.9 seconds down on the race leader. Here comes Therion. You can hear the crowd starting to really ramp up the noise down here. It's a 5th place here today. The noise are really starting to echo its way around the valley here in Champéry. A great run by Therion, but not good enough today. All that experience, but you still got to deliver on a course that is slightly different because of the changes, and that almost negates to some degree the advantage of having so much experience on this course because you've got the newer sections in there.
Yeah, absolutely. When it's more challenging, when there's changing conditions, that's when your experience does shine through. That's when your technical ability on the bike shines through.
Next rider away, Jordan Williams, really the other end of the scale, 21 years old, 5th in qualification, 16th to last rider, due to take to the start on the way down, although I do think we're not going to see Thibaut Deprella taking to the race start shortly, but 5th fastest time in qualification. He knows he's there or thereabouts. He knows, though, he also needs a little bit more now.
Yeah, he was happy with qualification. I think in fifth is good. You probably know that you've got a little bit more time that you can find out there. But what an amazing career. He battled with Jackson in the junior ranks. And then he came out and he won his very first race in the elite category. That would have raised expectations. That would have raised pressure. It's been a little bit tough after that. But this year, he's really bouncing back well. He's comfortable with where he needs to be at the top of the field.
So heading for a second time split here, 1.9 seconds, and the further and further we go through this race field, we've got 14 more riders to come now, and it's looking more and more the case that Kiefer's time is going to hold. How long it holds for, we have yet to see. You know, there's not that many people who have been faster than him. One was Williams in qualification. Williams is not going to challenge now. He's not going to pull that time back out before he gets down to the finish, surely. That's a time gap that's not going to come back.
No, that's a challenge. 1.9 at that second split. It's kind of showing what race pace he's on compared to Kiefer, you know. He's definitely pushing. He's not going to give up, don't get me wrong. But it certainly is telling that he's lost that much time at the second split already, and there you go. So it shows you his race pace is just not quite up to Henry Kiefer's overall commitment.
So Kiefer with the fastest time at split 1, 2, 3 and 4. Consistently the quickest rider all the way down the course. The previous holders of that hot seat taking maybe the odd split fastest as they went in, or 2 splits at a time, but it was only Kiefer who had the full package taking away the top. And at the moment holding that hot seat, Jordan Williams pushing all the way to the line here. He's not going to take away top spot, he's close. Second position here. He goes in behind Kiefer. He bangs the bar in frustration there. So Henry Kiefer holds top spot. Now into second place. Behind the German rider goes Jordan Williams of Great Britain. In third place is the rider from the United States of America, Dylan Maples. They are your top 3 at the moment. Jordan Williams, not enough to pull, not enough course, not enough pace early on. Didn't lose particularly badly anywhere on that course. It was just overall just that little bit of creep.
Yeah, just that overall run speed was just a percentage or 2 off.
And just looking down at that back wheel, wonder if there was a slight issue there. Just wondering whether he had that right choice of tyre or tyre pressure in there, as we see Luke Mayer-Smith now. 18th in qualification. 8 seconds behind that fastest time of Goldstone's. Heading towards time check number 1.
Yeah, regular in the top 15 in the World Cup Series, Aussie national champion. He's got the talent, he's got the skill to do this. Can he just deliver under the weight of the world champ's pressure? So within touch here at the first split.
Nice line by Mayer-Smith there, just takes a little bit of air over the top, carrying speed through here. Down at split number 1 by what was half a second or so. We're going to see what it's going to be like at split 2. Here we go, what's it going to be? Will it be green? Will it be red? It's in the red again. So losing more time again, just losing a little bit second by second, meter by meter. Meter of drop, centimeter of drop.
Oh, making a mistake there as well. He's going to drift further back, and those are the challenges you have. You have to push, and you're going to potentially just drift and lose momentum.
And the temptation then to push too hard. You know you've made a mistake, you then push too hard again. That temptation is there, isn't it? And that is what can drive you to make what is ultimately something that costs you a really big margin in time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. I mean, that time is unfortunately gone. You want to try push hard, you want to try and get it back, but often it leads to way more mistakes. Oh, big jump there, then drifting low. Shows you the difference in line that someone like Remy Teron took versus Luke Mayer-Smith. So big talent on the bike, but unfortunately, Kiefer has just shown an absolute unbelievable run to the field here so far.
Just watching Luke Mayer-Smith on the way down here, heading towards the lower section of the course. About to come out from the woods here at time check at number 4, intermediate split 4. In 10th place, 5 seconds down. It's another ride down as we cross further and further down our list here. And that means that we should have 14 more riders to come. It's actually going to be 13 with Thibaut the Pro not taking to race start. 10th place at the moment for Luke Mayersmith. He knows that that will drift as the next riders come down, and potentially the next rider on course, Ryan Pinkerton, could push him down further. Pinkerton with an 8th position. Those little mistakes that we saw from Mayersmith, that drift out going wide. As a rider, you know you've made a mistake. You know that you're maybe pushing too hard, but how much of it is instinctive and how much of it is thought?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of thought before, but I think when you're riding, it needs to be subconscious. You can't have any thought. You know, if you're thinking, you're losing, that's for sure.
Well, let's see what Ryan Pinkerton can do here. How instinctive can he ride down this course? 8th in qualifying. He came through. He had, as he came down, the fastest split time at split number 1 in qualification. So good on the top of the course. He's got to repeat that and then carry that down the lower sections as well. Pinkerton's time only 5.773 slower than the race winning time. But look at this. Even at split number 1, he's in 6th place. So not repeating that fastest run at that point.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, Pinky at the bottom, it sounded like he did have more in the tank. But you comparing your greasy run yesterday, I have more in the tank. Now you've got to come and you've got to switch on to some of the driest conditions of the weekend. You've got to push far beyond what you thought was capable, and that's what Keith has clearly been able to do up until this stage.
And we've seen the dust being raised by the riders as they come through now. We've gone from grease, we've gone from wet. It was torrential rain at the very start of the practice days. The mud's still in the car parks down at the bottom of the hillside. But here, where the sun is out, where the wind has blown it dry, we're seeing that dust being raised up by the riders. And it just changes the track. And now, as you say, fastest conditions going. Very hard to pull back time. Very much about not making mistakes. But you still... For anybody who hasn't ridden in the dry, it's hard almost to describe. You go from having no grip to having grip to having, again, degraded grip when you go onto the dusty conditions.
Yeah, you are seeing some dust in some of these sections, then you start losing grip. So potentially the later you go, some sections are going to be too dry again. So it really is challenging to decide, okay, what pace am I going to push at? Pinky's had an incredible year. He's one of the most consistent riders, getting into all the finals this year. Coming from SoCal, being mentored by Brian Lopes, it's been impressive to see how quickly he's been comfortable with European conditions, because that's not always easy to do early in your elite career.
So split point number 4, 4th position, 4 seconds back. Where will he be? Will he slot inside that top 5? Dakota Norton, one-time holder of the hot seat, is the rider in danger in 5th position. Through the line he goes. He's going to go into 6th, so Norton safe inside the top 5 for the moment. It's Therion who's deposed and all the riders below him in those standings. So at the moment, Kaifa, Williams, Maples, Chapley and Norton the top of 5, with Pinkerton slotting into 6th position.
One of the few riders that doesn't turn the 13 upside down. Remember we saw in the junior category, Greg Menard turned it upside down 1. Maybe he missed the memo.
Maybe just a little bit. Maybe that was the difference. We will see. Max Hartenstein, the next rider on course at the moment.
So Max had a really impressive Q2 result at Leger. I know it's interesting to say, oh, you did well in Q2, you weren't in Q1. But the conditions got a bit dry and he put 4 or 5 seconds into some of the best riders in the world. So he is on pace at the moment. He's on form is what I'm trying to say.
So on form, but is that form enough? He's still within 1 second, but look at the difference. 15th position is 0.834 at that stage. Yes, it's early in the run, but it's so indicative of what the riders are able to do afterwards.
That was good. That was really good.
It was neat, wasn't it?
He didn't go as high as some of the others, but he really pumped out of it.
Is it enough, though? Can he pull back more time? 0.834 at split number 1. This is split 2. Another second loss. He's into what is a 4th position. So 1.8. So in terms of position, improving in terms of time loss, that time loss has increased.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be in touch at the first split. You maybe could give up a little bit to Kiefer because he has done something special there up until now. but you need to not lose another second before that second, but then you know your race pace is not quite up to standard. So he's going to have a couple hard pedal strokes here, and then you really got to just decide, hey, I'm going to sit back. I know I could do another pedal stroke or two, but I need to regain my composure. I need to get my heart rate down before I enter these daunting, steep last turns here on the Champéry slope. That is like a sheer cliff it drops off down there.
And it's intimidating, isn't it? You're running through, then you see it dropping away. No matter how many times you do it, you know that it's going to fall away. You know you're going into that steeper section. You're dropping down, plummeting down these slopes here, heading in towards the arena. You also know that you're getting towards the end of the run, so you know that your body's tired. You know that everything's hurting. At the moment, we've seen him 8th down to 4th, back to 10th place here, yo-yoing around inside the top 10.
Oh, going deep. He's gone off the track. Oh, no, that's ended way worse than he was hoped for. He knows it as well. There's nothing he can do about that.
So the rules are that if you go outside the course markers, you've got to come back inside the marker and rejoin the course. Head down there, and that is going to be a disappointment as he comes in through, as he makes his way in and across the line. Max Hunton's time, a 3:03. However, I think outside the course marker there will be enough. Let's see what the commissaires have to say about that. Fortunately for us, it's them making those tough decisions. It's what I'd like to say it's what they get paid for. They don't get paid. I mean, that's what we've got to remember. These race officials, they give up their time to ensure that the sport continues, that it carries on, that it's done fairly, that these riders have great conditions to race in, that the course is safe for everybody, as well as the riders abiding by the rules and staying within the course as well. Phenomenal to see the amount of volunteers. The Enduro, the figure was mentioned, it was 310 marshals out on course.
That is a big number. That is a really big number.
And that was
incredible.
all day, day after day. That was just marshals alone. It's a huge volume of people. Never mind everybody who's making everything else happen.
Yeah, I mean, you would argue that he hasn't gained time by going around, but he hasn't stayed on the intended track. You know, he didn't carry on pushing it at 100%. He's definitely lost time, but by not coming back to where he's exited the track, you know, he's definitely gained an advantage, you know. So we're getting view of Benoit Coulange, who was silver medalist last year at the World Championship, not having the season he's quite used to having. They're doing a lot of testing on that new Scott Gambler. They really are finding their pace, finding their feet, which is incredible. This is a unique one. I haven't seen this one for, well, ever.
So it's stressing the body, putting force onto the body, putting force onto the muscles, putting force onto the joints as well. The rider's just appreciating that little bit of personal space that you can have in there, that you're not necessarily going to be inundated with people. So at the moment, Thibaut Debrella, the rider, not taking to his race start time, not being occupied by anybody else. It does mean a little bit longer down there. The cap pulled down, the shades are on for Käfer at the moment. Henry Käfer of Germany leading in the hot seat at the moment. The fastest time, a 2:56.099. Behind him, it is Jordan Williams at 2.194 of a second behind. In third place, Dylan Maples of the United States of America. He is currently at 3.120. That's the difference you've got to be better than. So you've basically got to get in over the line less than 3 seconds behind Henry Käfer to get into the medals at the moment. But of course, with 11 riders still to come, we've got some fast qualifiers. We've got riders. All these riders have the pedigree. They have the talent to take away a win. You know, Shane O'Callaghan, a rider who we've not maybe talked about, a rider that we know could be right up there. You know, he's 5th in the World Cup standings. Not maybe his course, maybe not, but you could never discount any of the riders. I don't think anybody who can make it into the end of the standings can be discounted. Now, Troy Brosnan, another of the legendary riders that we've come to love over the years, onto the course here.
Yeah, one of the most consistent riders of all time. But an incredible podium striker. Many World Champs medals, as well as overall championship medals. Can he find the pace he needs here at World Champs? Because this is a special kind of race. You know, consistency doesn't help. We're not part of a World Series. So we need that extra pace. You need that commitment.
And that's
looking good. He's in touch at the first split. So that's the best first split we've seen since Kiefer lit it apart. So a former junior world champion. So he knows what it is like to put on those rainbow stripes. I know Sam Hill has been sending messages and been sending good vibes to him, trying to send him advice. He needs to channel that inner Sam Hill here. And that is the corner. Okay, so he safely threw the corner that took Sam Hill out here back in 2007. So this is going to be so important. No, wow, I can't believe he's lost 2 seconds to Kiefer. Really neat on that inside line, and then you're able to hop into the inside. So that's the shortest distance by far. That is surprising that Kiefer has put 2 seconds into Troy.
So the gap 2.233 at split number 2 after 1 minute and 15 seconds of riding. 2.2 seconds separating the riders. We're now coming down in towards split number 3. We'll go down over the bridge. We're going to drop out from the woods out onto the side of the slopes. Here in the Alps, in Valais, in Champéry, Brosnan on his way down here. 11th to last rider to leave the start hut. Midway down this course, what's he going to do?
3 World Cup wins to his name, 3 World Championship medals in the elite category. Man, he's drifting more time away. A new father, he bounced back after becoming a dad by winning in Mount St. Anne at the end of last year, which was just one of the most incredible feats I've seen. But this is just not going to be his day. It is unfortunately the challenge with World Champs. You've got to be able to ride sometimes above your head, above your comfort zone, to be able to pull out these wins, especially on a track like this.
Well, not to be today. A great start of the run, and yet he lost that time high up. Mistake, error, just not quite on the pace. He had it early on.
No, I think it's just unfortunately overall run speed and commitment. Like I say, he's one of the most consistent riders, but sometimes that can be your downfall because you are so clinically good, you're so skilled, you're good at being precise. But this track's going to take pushing it yourself almost over the limit in some sections.
And just watching down over these sections here, we have to remind ourselves, these are the best of the best. We're at a time in downhill where we have the best riders with the best we are at the pinnacle so far, really, of downhill in so many ways. And yet it's still not enough. You have to put in that extra little bit to take that world title here. At the moment, Henry Kiefer in the hot seat, sub 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 56.099 seconds. And the top 15 separated by 6 seconds, the top 20 by just over 7. Very close as we would expect on the fast track here. Some really big names being pushed further and further down through the standings, from legends like Aaron Gwynn to early faster riders like Jewett making their way down this track. But at the moment, it's going to be about what can our last riders do. So, next rider down, 4th fastest qualifying, a rider on form, and as we have said, and has been well publicised, Ronan Dunn. Lived in the area, spent a lot of time riding down. He is our next rider due to go, the Irishman. He took an absolute flyer and really broke in, taking away the win. But the last round of the World Cup is very different to racing here at the World Championship.
Yeah, there's an extra level of pressure, extra level of expectation, but he's someone that has not shied away from that. He wanted to get that second win in the World Cup Series, which he was able to do. So part of me thinks they can lift a little bit of the pressure. It's easier to win 1 than it is to win 2, that's for sure. And he's not shying away and admitting how many runs he's done on this track, and he didn't do it for nothing. He's quoted as saying that. That
is a real marker put down, and we've seen that before where riders have have almost not quite buoyed themselves up, but they've said, you know, look, I'm a credible rider here, whether it's my conditions or not. I've put in the time, I've done the work, and they're telling the world as well as themselves, look, this is, you know, it's not imposter syndrome. It's not because they're not afraid to commit and then they haven't done the work. It's just, it is that race. It is the one race. As you can see, our last 10 riders up on your screen. Dunn, O'Callaghan, Coulange, Pierre, along with Shaw, Kolb, followed then by Stevens, McNabb, Goldstone, Vergier and Bruni. They are the riders to come down the race route. The clock ticks onwards as we see Ronan Dunn in the start hut. Time to see what he can do here on what must feel like home ground.
Strap yourselves in. If you've got a seatbelt, put that one on as tight as you can. This is going to be one of the wildest rides I think you will see here today. Ronan Dunn coming off a win in Leger, done upwards of 80 runs on this track before we got to the race week. He is hungry for it. He wants this. He said before he's willing to go home in a helicopter. I don't think he wants to do that today. However, you know he's willing to commit for it.
Yeah, well, it's time to put himself where he's said he's going to be, and he's doing that. 0.2 up the fastest time at split number 1. This is going to be critical now. He's got to hold this. We have seen riders. Troy Brosnan had a fastest split. Big high line up there. Throw the back wheel out. Comes in, carrying another high line through. Here we're coming in towards split number 2. It's quick, but is it quick enough?
This is really good to see. You need to be in touch with Kiefer. That shows your race pace. This is going to be telling. Oh, he's in touch. Okay, he's in touch. He's 0.5. Opts for that inside line. Then he's going to hop into the inside there. He does that very neatly. So as much as he's going to be aggressive, he knows he has to be composed in certain sections. This is one of the fastest sections on the course. Gets rocketed out of there. Now this is where he can take a breath. So he's in touch. He's 0.5 off Kiefer's time. That shows you how fast the German rider has ridden here today. Okay, couple pedal strokes. This is where he needs to be composed. Coming off a win in Leger. He wants this probably more than anyone out here today. There, he's on the high line. Neat on the high line again. Oh, drops down. Gets the braking good. This is going to be telling. Was he able to keep Kiefer's pace here? He's in touch. 0.3. This could be a race-winning run here by Dunn. But he does need to make up some time here in the lower slopes.
Well done, really on the pace here. 0.367. What's he going to do at split 4? It comes very quickly indeed. Throws it over that section. It's 0.329. He's made back. It's what is 400ths of a second. But surely it's going to be too much this last section. He's going to have to do something special. Has he got something secret left in the tank from all of those runs through? Here he comes. What's he going to do? He's going to go through 0.047 seconds. You can see the elation on Kiefer's face. He was worried all the way to the line. Dejection for Dunn here. Shake of the head. He knows that he wanted that so bad. Desire does not necessarily equal results. My goodness me.
No, this mountain owes you nothing. Absolutely nothing. He put so much work into this run. His heart and soul went in. That will be so disappointing for him. But that just shows you what Kiefer was able to do.
Henry Kiefer was the 3rd fastest on split number 1. Dunn and Brosnan both went faster on split 1, but then things started to go wrong for both those riders. So you've got to nail split number 1 and then keep it to the end. What can Shane O'Callaghan do here?
From
Always
one Irishman to the next.
Yeah.
These two are so exciting. How good is it to see them back to back? Both World Cup winners. They both shared podiums when Ocean took that win. Now, Ocean, if it was raining, I would put him higher up on my list. I have a question mark at how hard he can push in these conditions. He's so skilled, don't get me wrong. I just don't know if it suits him as much as some of the other tracks in the year.
But that is something that riders work on, isn't it? I mean, we heard about riders like Brun going out working on his the way he rides in the mud rather than in the dry, in the wet. It's something that riders have to work on because it's no good just being a warm weather specialist. You can't do that at the top level of sport, but it takes time to learn that, to build those skills, to develop that library of skills, of knowledge, of experience you can then draw upon.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, these riders are incredibly good. at riding any track. They're working on any weaknesses, but just sometimes you get to a track and you have a feeling. You get to a track and you just gel with it. It's like you don't even have to try.
Callahan on his way down here, making his way through split number 1. The time gap of 1.532. You can see Dunn there just chatting with Kiefer at 1 and 2 at the moment, with Williams in 3. So it's Kiefer, Dunn and Williams. You're 1, 2, 3 at the moment. The time gap to break into those medals at the moment, well, that is just under 3 seconds. In fact, just over 2.194. Here comes O'Callaghan. I don't think he's going to challenge for a medal here today. He was out at 5.356. He's now at nearly 10 seconds. 9 seconds is the equivalent of 30th place at that split.
Yeah, so he's a rider that's really good at generating speed. Obviously, if it's slippery, he's really good. And this track is obviously a little different to excel at. So, and it looks like he's sort of cruising a little bit, so might have had some mistakes. He just knows he's not going to go get a medal. There's no points to worry about, so why risk it? Why risk a crash? You got the rest of the World Cup Series.
He's just not charging, is he? It's just that little bit of body language. When he's going for it, you know he's going for it, and it's just not happening. Not to be the day here today for Callahan. There's plenty of riders who would like to get down the track in that time and call that a bad day. They'd be calling that the best run of their lives, but not to be today when your standards are as high as O'Callaghan's are.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many people would have had Kiefer on their sort of gold medal picks. You know, there was the big 4, I think, coming in. People on form, people willing to risk, people that raised their game at World Championship. Kiefer new to the World Cup podium stage, so it's going to be interesting.
Well, last year's silver medalist, Benoit Coulange, he'd added to his medals haul. He'd already got a silver before. What can he do now? He would dearly love to take away top spot, but it's a big ask here today with the level of competition. Coulange on to the descent, though.
Yeah, big signing for Scott on that new Gambler. It's just not been quite the season we would have hoped, but he is in touch here. He's put so much work on in the off-season, so much testing. And I think potentially that's been sort of a downfall. You know, he's overworked himself, and maybe he's got to step back and just get some of the fun back into his riding. And we all know how capable he is. Second last year at the World Championship. But maybe he can turn it around here.
And we're just starting to see more and more stones, more and more of the debris just being dislodged on the way round, more dust coming up as well as these riders are breaking the track away. There is a slight deterioration in the course in some places that we're starting to see, but in others that will actually wash it clearer. It'll wash some of the big bumps out and get rid of some of those big stones that maybe would have thrown you offline and just leave you a little bit smoother. In other places it makes it harder. So the changes to the tracker cone as the riders continue downwards. Benoit Coulange down at split 1 by 0.6 of a second, 2.5 seconds nearly at split 2. We're going to head in towards split number 3. Out the saddles, stamps on those pedals, trying to build speed. Still stood pretty high on the bike. We've seen a number of the riders really trying to get low there, but not to be for Coulange, just keeping control rather than worrying about the aerodynamics of it.
Yes, he stays really high there. I don't think there's any way for him to get much lower. He's so tall. So potentially not a track that suits him, you know. Some riders are going to gel with it. The taller riders, it may be harder to stop. The braking points are going to be more of a challenge than, say, some of the lighter riders. So Benoit Coulange, the tall, lanky Frenchman, coming off second place last year at the World Championship. Former World Cup winner, had that amazing win in Ligier in front of his home crowd. I mean, that I could not have witnessed a cooler thing in my life. So not quite the run he was hoping for here today.
So Coulange just inside the top 20, 6.5 seconds down. Not his day at the office. Interesting to see the support there from the Sapeurs-Pompiers, which is basically fire and rescue in France. They do everything from attending road traffic accidents to putting out fires as well, although a lot of the time it's doing everything that you'd expect the emergency services to do, many of them volunteers as well, and great to see that support from them down here for Benoit. So we are going to go from one Frenchman to another. Marie Piron, what can he do here today? is today the day. Is today the day where he can take away a gold medal, take away a winning run on a track here in Switzerland at Valais.
Well, if anyone can do it, it can be Amri Piron. Second in qualifying. He has destroyed the field at tracks that he rarely gets on with. I like his riding style for this track. I think conditions should suit him. He's able to lift his game. Oh, and he's up. He's 0.1 up. That's what you need to be at the first split. So this is where it's going to get testing for him. Can he keep that intensity? Can he keep that pace here today? Amri's willing to ride over the edge. We've seen some of the crashes he's had, even in training. So we know he's willing to lift his game. He's willing to risk it.
And that's what he's got to do, because we saw Kiefer so good. Split 2, 3 and 4, still holding the fastest times. He's seen people come and challenge for split 1. Brosnan, Dunn have done it. What can Piron do? He's close, 0.262 at the moment as he makes his way past split number 2. Up at split 1, down at split 2. Split 3 will be critical.
He looks that looks like he's chilling harder than some of the other guys. I don't know if he was just catching his breath or something has gone wrong. That was super surprising. No, he's just maybe more casual riding style than where he's used to here. So Amri Piron, winner of 2 overall World Cup titles. The World Championship has eluded him. It's been countryman Loic that has taken so many in the past here.
And you just said Amri Piron and casual riding style in the same sentence, pretty much. We expect him to push to the limit and beyond. It's just not happening, and he's losing time all the way down this course from
and big
quick
mistake
start.
then, lost the foot as well. Yeah, this is uncharacteristic from Amri. I expected him to be way closer. Can't notice anything on the bike at this stage.
He knows he's off the pace, though, doesn't it? It's just not that same style that we see from him.
No, not at all. Unless he's got a slow flat that he's noticed and he's just not willing to push. It just does not seem like him at all. That is a huge disappointment for Amri Piron after qualifying second.
And 6th in the World Cup Series, a podium at the first 2 rounds of that World Cup. We know that he's got the ability, he's got the finish, he's got the style. Just today, just not happening. Just bad day at the office. Oh,
yeah, big mistake in the steep, but the damage was done before that. That's for sure.
But once you know you're off the pace, some riders don't keep pushing. But
I want to say that rear wheel does not look good.
Yeah,
it's either a slow flat or he's damaged the rim.
Okay, Lucas Shaw, next rider to go for sure. Not the qualifying he wanted, 24th.
No, he was not comfortable in those conditions. You know, it was so difficult with the shade that came over. It got very cooler, cold and stuff. And the dirt got inconsistent. I think he's the type of rider that either be very wet or very dry. He struggles to push when it's a bit inconsistent and there's nothing to play for. Oh, very neat there at the top. Oh, look at that. That is fast. These are the conditions he would have wanted. He wanted a little bit drier conditions. But I think Kiefer did some really incredible stuff up from split 1 to split 2 that not many riders are going to be able to match.
Kiefer's time at split 1 is now the 5th fastest time. He's been beaten now time and time again to split 1.
But
those
split 2, no one can match.
Split 2, nobody is matching him from split 2 and 3 and 4. It's still all his. And nobody's touching him. And we're seeing, look, time's gone out again. Sure, not able to do that. Kiefer's run.
He's put 2 seconds into him in a 50-second section. That's a lot of time.
Do you know how long he's been sat in that hot seat? Over an hour. It's now over an hour he's been sat in that hot seat.
I have no sympathy for him.
No.
That is one of the best places to sit if you're in the leading position. It's a bit stressful, but you got the sigh of relief because you've done your work. You know, you don't have to go. You don't want another run at it.
Yeah, but he's nervous, so he can't have any fingernails left. He must have chewed them off by now. I mean, just sat there, just waiting, rider after rider after rider. Sure, on his way down here, not, I think, going to challenge. You can't pull back. We've seen this. You just can't get that time
look at
back.
that. That was cool. He hopped to stay inside. Really impressive. So this is the Luca we know and like to see. So still pushing, maintaining that gap. So he's lost less in a longer section than he did from split 1 to split 2. What has Kiefer done in there?
Time travel.
Sorcery. Cornering sorcery, as I said yesterday.
So Shaw through checkpoint 4 in 5th position. It's not a bad run, this is the thing.
No,
we're comparing it to Kiefer's run, which was phenomenal.
He could go on to win this whole thing, so we must remember it's a very good run. Luca has pulled back so much time compared to his qualification, and I'm not surprised. That's what Luca does.
Well, come the finals comes Lucas Shaw, but not enough to go in and through. So with an hour in the hot seats, he returns to it. That is, of course, the man, Henry Kiefer. Shaw, you said it needs to be one or the other. You know, it's light or shade one, but not that real mix. But he then didn't lose too much anyway in particular. I mean, a little bit, 2 seconds in split 1 to split 2, but he didn't then hemorrhage time further down.
No, he's a rider that is smart. You know, he knows not to push too hard in varying conditions. You could risk a crash.
So the Austrian rider onto the slopes. Andreas Kolb now making his way down. A very slow qualification time for him. Expected to see more from him. What can he do now? It is a finals run day. No saving anything. This is it. No time for rehearsals. This is the final curtain. We are into our last few riders now. Kolb making his way down him here, and he's up. He's up by 0.3 of a second. So again, another rider who can push on the first split, but he now, it's like going, yeah, I can do this, but you've then got to prove it. It's one thing saying it at split 1, it's doing it at 2, 3, or 4, and then into the finish.
It's just a tease, isn't it? Because he didn't have the fastest first split, but he had an incredible split from 2 to 3. Andy Kolb, our silver medalist from 2023.
He's still up.
Oh, he's up. This is a huge run. This is fast. Oh, he's a little bit late there. I don't know if that's the line he intended. He's had a few different lines up at the top already.
Yeah, he's lost 0.1 of a second basically from split 1 to split 2, but he was still up. He still held that. What could he do here?
But he's the only one in touch. We haven't seen Green at split 2 for so long.
Can you remember that far back?
No, I can't. No, my memory's bad on the best of days. So hard on the pedals here. Then he's going to take a breather. You need to reset. But he has to push, he has to, even if you're on a good run, you've got to give it your all to the finisher. Going for the high line. Oh no!
Speed!
That is the risk of that high line, that is the risk. It can all come on fold. This mountain is so unforgiving.
He's back up, he's on his feet.
We saw Luca jump that section because you can't guarantee traction there.
And coming into that, he was really low. So as we came off the bridge, he took down low. He held the speed. He carried more speed in, but then he just couldn't hold it as he came on there. He's back up. I mean, he's way to the crowd. That's a good motion, but my goodness me, a lucky escape at speed on one of the fastest sections of track.
Yeah, he's a fan favorite. He's always going to big up for them, but thank goodness the course builders are so good at putting up those nettings. That is one of the fastest sections. It is so tough. If you're going to commit to that high line, you've got to almost hop and lean the other way, but he was just too far lean to the right. Yeah, and he just caught his back wheel, didn't hop far enough. That is a very technical line to be doing a pace.
But it was almost like he was caught between hopping it and dropping it.
Yeah.
You know, go over to or drop in, and it almost was the front went one way, just didn't, as you say, catch that back wheel on there. And that is enough, but he was so close. He was within a third of a second. Coming through those splits, he was nearly there, but today not to be. Andreas Kolb, we're going to get a massive round of applause as he comes down into the arena. You can see there, Ronan Dunn and Henry Kiefer both out of the hot seats and giving him the applause there. Well, he threw everything, including the kitchen sink, and it was not enough. He went off course. Can Lachlan Stevens McNabb hold it together all the way to the bottom? He's got to be right on the limit. He's got to push. 6th in qualifying.
Only 21 years of age. He's so young and so committed. Yeah. Oh, look at that hop into that line. That was awesome to see. So having some great results early in his career. This is pressure. This is the big stage, but he loves it. So within touch, 0.3. But Andy Kolb was able to put pressure on that second split time.
Kolb pushed to 0.3 ahead, and then was 0.2 and a little bit ahead still, and then carrying so much pace in there. I think that may well have been the error there for Kolb, and yet now we're seeing Stevens McNabb behind. at split number 1 by 0.3 of a second. What's he going to be behind at split number 2? 0.3 now, 0.8. Lost a little bit of time. 5th position. It shows you still close. What can he do? He's got to pull something special out here on this midsection.
He's within striking distance. This is going to be telling, though. Get from split 2 to split 3. Can he show the race pace that Henry Kiefer was showing? So the young New Zealander, coming from a BMX background, he has grown up racing bicycles. I don't think he worries about any pressure. He's so composed under race conditions.
Drop down and then back up onto the top again. They're not doing the taking the high line, losing a little bit of time in 3rd position at the moment as he goes through split number 3. So this is still a good run at the moment. Jordan Williams from Great Britain, the rider at the moment at risk in 3rd place at the moment. Through split 4 now into 4th position. Dylan Maples now the rider being pushed down. The United States of America rider currently in 4th position. Has Steven Smith now got anything to pull back in towards the middle positions, in towards the top 3 as he comes in over the line? It's going to be a good time. It's going to be... Oh, a lot of time lost there. So just taking a look at the time there on the way down and through. Between split 4 and the finish, he lost 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, he had to put in a lot of pedal strokes compared to some of the other riders. So that's showing me there could be something wrong with the bike, or he's just not carrying as much pace as the top guys on the leaderboard. Here over the roller, you'll see he scrubs the roller. He's putting a lot of pedal strokes in because he lands quite high. A lot of the other riders are letting it go for longer.
Well, is this the day? Is this the moment we see Jackson Goldstone right to an elite
that's a
title?
new line. We haven't seen that from anyone.
Absolutely one of the most exciting talents for the future. And now, he was a talent when he was young. This is a rider we know could well take the title. Fastest in the qualifying.
Oh, and he's up by
again.
0.3, and he also hopped into that high line. So it's not just different lines, it's also the way he's riding. He's pre-hopping. He's really, really good at that. He's missing the bump. So now he's going to go high. That was good. He could hop out of the back of that. 4 World Cup wins to his name. But we haven't seen him at the last 2 World Championships in Elite. It's a question mark. How is he going to perform under the pressure, the weight? It's one run. It's one chance. The world is watching.
Now we're coming towards checkpoint number 2. Through he goes. He's lost time. It's 0.338. So Jackson Goldstone, one of our smaller riders, he's a really slight character. He's not, you know, he really is. You compare him to some of the bigger riders, he just looks like he's still got growth, and yet he can lay down a really fast run. That's a lot of time to make back, though. 0.338, and as we go down here, this is the 3rd to last rider to hit the slopes. Goldstone, first Elite World Championships. Can he pull that back?
This is so exciting. If anyone can pull back this time, it is him. That was where Kiefer, so that's the highline. He hops further than Kolb. He makes it. This is fast. This is frighteningly fast so far. Oh, and he rips that turn. Yes, he's up. He's made the time. This is the run we've been waiting for. Jackson Goldstone. The rainbow stripes are calling. Can he answer?
Up at split 1, down at split 2, up at split 3. We're going into split 4. Will it be green? Will it be red? It's green. It's 1.36 of a second.
This is huge. Jackson Goldstone is delivering here in Champéry. Oh my goodness, 4 World Cup wins this year. Is this the time for him to take the stripes home?
Here he comes, Jackson Goldstone of Canada goes through the line with the fastest time by nearly 2 seconds at 2 minute 54.153. After over an hour in the hot seat, we have a new leader.
That is not a run. That is a statement to the sport right now.
Well, if ever there was a rider to pull it back, he didn't make it easy for himself, but now he can celebrate, and he has a nervous wait with the defending champion and the legend that is like Bruni to come. So Lois Verger, like Bruni to come. Jackson Goldstone put down. What a run.
Look at that
This
hop.
was astounding.
Oh, we missed it, but he hopped further than Andy Kolb. I mean, that is the difference we're seeing today. Yes, he was close or behind at that second split, right? But that's the split that Kiefer was so good at. But then I just knew if someone was able to do it, it's going to be Jackson. The way he rides, the way he's willing to hop into the backsides and generate speed.
And just throwing the bike away. That is mic drop of the century. What a way to go. All right, back to the top of the hill, the defending champion from 2024. He'll have heard the noise, but he will have to focus on his run. Loris Vergier, not necessarily at the form we were expecting at Leger, second and third place in the World Cup already this season, but a poor qualifying from him where he's going to really have to pull this back. But we've seen how special a run you have to have, and that is not it. 1 second down at split one.
No, our reigning world champion, Loris Vergier. What an incredible win from last year, but this is a whole new year. This is a whole new track. Does it suit him? I would say on paper, it's not really the track I would design for Loris Vergier. Maybe if it's super wet and challenging and slippery, I think it would be something for him. But I think this is where a few other riders would excel harder than him. Yeah, and it's showing 1.6 back on Jackson Goldstone. And this is where Jackson Goldstone really got moving from split 2 to split 3 into the finish. Jackson is really good at finishing a run. Even if he's had an incredible run, he still pushes, he commits to the finish.
And Jackson Goldstone's run fastest at split 1, fourth fastest at split 2. Then this section is where he made it, between here and split number 3, moving back into first place after being in fourth position. It's making it hard for yourself, and you can see here Vergier not taking that line, not going high, not carrying as much speed. 3.3 seconds down now in fifth place at this stage. The French crowd, the supporters on the hillside still cheering him on. Still a popular rider, but at the moment not a rider who's going to be in the medals as he comes through. Now 4 seconds down, fifth place at split number 4. It's not going to be a medal, and the riders in those hot seats know. Now it's all about what colour medal will they be going for. The man most vulnerable is Ronan Dunn. He's going to watch Loris Vergier go through in fifth position. The riders applaud, the crowd applauds, but
what a tough sport. We're busy picking apart a top 5 run at World Champs for the reigning champ. That's a great title defense. You know, it's potentially a track that I don't think suits him, but you know, a lot of pressure for him to deliver. Everyone would say, oh, can you go back to back? And he didn't have the best qualification either, so he bounced back nicely here on race day.
Came back from 17th in qualifying. He's put himself into fifth place with one rider to go. He's going to get at least sixth position, maybe be in the top 5. Goldstone in 1, Kiefer in 2, Dunn in 3. Away though goes. What a legend like Brun, multiple-time world champion. Absolutely. If there was a man to beat the time, this is the man who could do it. Can he pull it out today?
I couldn't have said it better myself. 5-time world champion. 2 times as a junior. This is Loic Bruni. He won this title 5 times in a span of 7 years. Opts for that wide line. He's made a mistake. He's off. No, that is done. One and done. That is so uncharacteristic for Loic Bruni. He is the man that you bet on to have a good, clean, fast world champs run. He's forced to push it. Jackson Goldstone has forced his hand there.
That was just shocking. You can see the congratulations going in, and I don't think Goldstone could quite believe it. He was expecting the challenge to come from Bruni. So were we. If we were going to see a mistake, we didn't expect to see it so early on in the run there. And now Bruni on the way down. This is just about getting to the bottom of the hill. He's no stranger. I mean, he's been riding for so long. He's been so close to the top so many times. He has had disappointments before, picked himself back up again. We know he's going to do it again. He'll be the first to congratulate Jackson Goldstone, without a doubt. You know, he's going to be over there, and we know no matter how much it hurts, he knows what it means to win a title, and this, a first elite title at the first time of asking for Goldstone. Bruni can appreciate that.
No, you absolutely can. You know, he'll respect that. He's had this rival with him in the World Cup Series, and it's forced Loic to up his game. It's forced Loic to up his race pace, and especially World Champs, he's a tactician. So when there's a lot of lines on track, when there's a lot of race strategy, he's the man to beat. He's the man to beat under pressure. But this track demanded something different from you, and he knew that Jackson Goldstone was going to throw caution to the wind and be willing to risk it. He had a crash in practice because he was pushing a big crash, and now he's had a crash in what some people would argue is a simpler part of the track. It's very uncharacteristic, and I think his hand was a little forced there, knowing that likes of Ronan Dunn, Amri Piron, Jackson Goldstone are willing to risk it all for the win.
Too much pressure, too much expectation, knowing that he has to throw everything at it, having done it before, or it could just be one of those racing things. We all have a day where we don't even know what catches us out on the bike and we're on the floor. It's not today the day for Loic Bruni. Bruni comes down here, congratulated, and he's pointing there. Did you get it? Did you get it? And there we go, the hug for Jackson Goldstone. He knows what it means to be world champion, and well, we had a feeling it was going to come sooner or later for Jackson Goldstone, the world champion at the men's elite downhill for 2025. I think there's a few people who would have expected that, and there we go, legend in the making, being given the congratulations by another legend as well.
Yeah, and being able to share it with your parents, that's so special. Yeah. We all know the history. Jackson Goldstone, one of the most famous and likable characters on the circuit for being so young. He does all the media, you know, he just deals with all the distractions, and he's able to still perform. And we saw at the top, he did the first off camber, and he was willing to jump. He's willing to risk it. He's willing to miss a lot of the track to try get backside. So incredible race for him, and you know, a lot of sportsmanship. All the riders waited for Loic to come down. He's not in a big celebratory mood at the moment. Oh, and he just got bucked as he came over that. You know, he'd been doing that in practice cleanly. Yeah, what a shock. That's the biggest shock, is having Loic crash there. And now the celebration can start. They've congratulated Loic. He's an unbelievable champion, 5-time world champion. But unfortunately, you know, you can't win them all.
Even legends have bad days.
They do.
And that was a bad day, and that's one he will want to forget. He will want to come back, I'm sure, in the future, but not his day. You can see how much it means to Jackson, to the family, to the team, to everybody involved. And you've got to say, what a way to win your first title, to come down on a run, to go from being in the lead to being in fourth to being in the lead again, then extend it. You can see him going out there to the finish arch, taking the bike with him, doing an amazing job on that bike, and it's going to be an iconic picture as well. Bike over the head here today. What a race run, what a rider. History in the making.
That wasn't just a downer run. As I said, that was a statement back to the sport. You know, he's young. He's got so many years ahead of him. 4 World Cup wins on the trot this year. Almost was 5, which would have been unheard of. But he's got the world champs stripes. And remember, he's got a World Cup overall to still try finish off. And he was willing to risk it. You know, and I did think someone as young as him and as talented as him is not going to be. He's able to block out the World Cup series. He knows he needs to risk that whole series to take the rainbow stripes.
But he's also in that position where he knows he's got years and years and years ahead. So, you know, it's not like you do it now or you're never going to get another chance. And yes, there is always that possibility something horrendous would happen, or, you know, you fall out of love with the sport, you know, you have a reason why it doesn't happen. But, oh my goodness, you know, job done.
Did he have it on mute, speaking to his sister? Let's hear. Let's wait and see if we can hear him. This is very special.
Well, I tell you something. It shows you the wonders of modern technology, where you can share your win on the way out there with the crowd. If you are watching, apologies if you are picking up any bad language from our riders that may offend you. This is emotion from the riders. Youngsters winning as world champions for the first time is always a moment which is special for them. And that's when the emotions really do let go. But if you are offended by any of the language, we do apologise. We don't intend for you to be upset. We want you to celebrate this win as much as our riders do as well. So a fantastic race run by our race winner, Jackson Goldstone. Not without moments where we wondered, was this going to be okay, great championships, get a medal but not the gold, and then turning it around on the way through. You can see that literally right to the edge of the course, so the back wheel as it whips up, clipping the post side, designed to do that. Phenomenal talent. We've seen him over the years for so long now. We almost take for granted the fact that he is so good, but this really just confirms it, doesn't it? This is down in the history books as, yes, he is this talented, and yes, get ready for more, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been a lot of greats that maybe haven't won a World Championship title. Aaron Gwynn comes to mind, and I'm not taking anything away from him. I think he's had the race-winning pace. He's had the mental to deal with the pressure, but he had a bike failure, one of them. So it's so good that you get the luck.
Jackson Goldstone, what a fun, what a race. It's incredible. You did at the end a gap extraordinary with more than 1.5 seconds. How did you do it?
Oh, I don't know. That was probably some of my best work on a mountain bicycle. I really started to build up through the week and struggled first 2 days, and then as soon as that quali run came, I felt like it was on, and I left everything out on track there. Yeah, I can't believe what I've just done. That was, yeah, such a big moment for me, and yeah, I'm pretty speechless, but yeah, that one was for Stevie Smith all the way.
We had the impression, the feeling when we saw you that you were pushing the limits very far. Did you feel it also? It was normal for you?
I feel comfortable at the limit. That was over the limit for sure, and I got away with it. I felt coming across that grass section that, you know, I was on a wild horse and just trying to hold on, and just wanted to go forward and try and keep my momentum going faster. And yeah, I just pushed as hard as I could all the way to the bottom, and oh my God, it worked. Wow.
What means for you this World Champion title? You had already won in junior, but after a very sad season, 24, now this season is extraordinary, and you almost finished with this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not over yet. I still got an overall to battle for, but yeah, I mean, for a comeback year, this isn't too bad. 4 World Cup wins and now the Rainbow Stripes is incredible. I, you know, can't believe I've got it here, and I have to give it up to everyone who got me here. You know, trainer back home, Damo, he came out to this race. Steve and everyone behind the syndicate and all the fans as well. Yeah, that was for you guys just as much as it was for me.
Thanks once again for the show, and congrats.
Thank you.
Well, I think congratulations from the whole world of mountain biking and the whole world of downhill, certainly from here in the commentary box. And a poignant reminder, I think, that this is a sport where we have so many great riders, and not all are necessarily world champions.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing that he paid tribute to the late Stevie Smith. I knew him very well, and he inspired so many, especially this Canadian crop of riders. He wasn't able to take those Rainbow Stripes, but Jackson Goldstone was, and I think he'd be smiling down on Jackson now, and smiling down on the sport. That was one of the most incredible races I have ever witnessed. That run is going to echo long after this dirt ever dries out here, and one for the history books.
One for the history books indeed. Don't forget, you can find all of those results on the UCI website. That's www.uci.org. To find the right discipline, that is mountain biking. Go to downhill, you'll find the World Championships for 2025 in Valais in Switzerland. Go onto the website and you can explore all of the great racing we have. As you can see, the results on your screens from those riders who crashed and still made it to the finish. Those riders who didn't take to the start line, and those riders who didn't keep it between the takes. Phenomenal racing. Let's take a little bit of a look back at the run down here for Ronan Dunn, the rider who takes away the bronze medal. Great riding for a rider who unlocked the confidence bottle, popped the top of that cork, and away he went.
And this is a type of race that is really made for Ronan Dunn. He's willing to push that extra little bit, you know, and now he's finding his racecraft and keeping it tidy as well as aggressive.
Very, very smart riding on the way down. on a high after the winning the World Cup, and of course with all that time on the track here as well. So really gave himself every opportunity, every chance to come away with a medal, and that's the result. He comes away with a bronze medal. A long time leader for well over an hour, and make it about an hour and 4 minutes. In fact, this man was sat in the hot seat after taking 7th in qualifying. Henry Kafer coming down, setting the fastest time all the way down, and it was really his run between splits 2 and split 3 and then split 4 into the finish that meant that no one could seem to touch him, and it's resulted in a silver medal.
Yeah, coming into the race, I'm not sure everyone put him on a medal watch list, but after watching him in first day practice, he was one of the most comfortable riders out there, so it's no surprise after I saw practice. And he is a talented rider. He's hopped on a podium for the first time and had an incredible junior career. He puts a lot of work into his racing.
But what can we say about someone who has long been touted as a future elite world champion? New lines, different lines, an innovative rider. We've seen him do that from the wilds of Canadian North Shore right the way through to racing on the World Cup scene, taking away wins, and coming back to do that after the season that he's had before. You know, we've not seen him at an elite championship. Now, bang, world champion.
Yeah, this is some of the best riding you are going to see. You know, he's riding on instinct. He's riding on pure skill and talent. And that's so good that he's allowing that to happen. What we saw up on these slopes, where he's able to hop to stay on the high line, that's all skill. You know, that's commitment. But you have to have the talent to go and pull that off.
Well, you can see just what it meant. He played a tribute to Stevie Smith and to the and of course the team behind him as well, with so many people that make it happen. And we've got to say a big thank you to everybody, not just on those teams, but behind the scenes here at Champéry and all the way across the Valais Canton in Switzerland, for hosting the Mountain Bike World Championships for 2025, hosting the Downhill World Championships, our junior men's and women's races, our women's elite and the men's elite. We have our elite podiums due to come very shortly. They will be here, but we have got, of course, lots of more great racing to come as well on downhill when it comes to the World Cup, and that's going to be coming up, and of course that's going to be great to see how that unfolds and comes to its conclusion. Who can pick themselves up from a bad result, like Brun being a prime example, second in the World Cup series. Jackson Goldstone's going to go on a massive high, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. You would only feel that he's going to have the momentum now going into the tail end of the season, but this is going to light a fire under Loic Bruni's belly. You know, he had the race pace, qualified decent, uncharacteristic crash. That's what happens in racing. You're going to push, you know, the knife's edge. It's going to bite back at some point in your career. I think it's going to light a big fire under Bruni. You know, he's not going to let the youngster get away with it that easy.
Certainly not. He's got the experience. Some fantastic racing already having taken place. The Enduro took place. The Bavard Glacier, the biggest glacier in the Alps, being host to the Glacier stage number 2, planned originally, but with the weather due to close on the second day, pushed to day 1. Day 1 stage really instrumental in setting up a lead in the women's race for Ella Connolly, who was battling against Hosking all the way through those stages. Big racing in Enduro, but will come the final stage into the finish. The run to the line came down to the very final sprint in. And in that mountain bike Enduro in the women's competition, Melanie Hougan from France taking third, Ella Connolly from Great Britain taking second, and Ellie Hoskin of Canada taking away a top spot and getting a gold medal. Maybe a portent of what was to come. In the men's competition, we had a real fight at the top. Sladimir Lukasik of Poland really started out the racing strongly, battling against Richie Rude Jr., the man who would eventually be fighting all the way to the line, sliding his way around that final turn. Richie Rude Jr. taking the win in the end from Sladimir Lukasik, taking away that title. Third place going to Elliot Jamieson from Canada, who kept himself in the hunt for the medals all the way through. But Richie Rude showing another talented rider taking away a medal, and just part of the multitude of different types of mountain biking that we are seeing. And that's one of the great things about mountain biking for me. Whether you want to just get out in the mountains, you want to go out at the mountain bike marathon, phenomenal racing in there. Keegan Swanson and Kate Courtney taking away the victory. Courtney coming from what is essentially a mountain bike Olympic background. Now Keegan Swanson from a gravel background, out there for 10 hours. Probably the absolute opposite of the pump track.
Was it 10 hours?
10 hours for some of the riders, yeah. 10 hours out there.
Not for the elites.
Yeah, for some of the elites.
Wow.
Yeah, scary big times out there. Now, the pump track's phenomenal racing on the pump track. Showing those skills, all about how to build momentum when you don't necessarily have anything but your skill to generate that momentum. In the women's competition, Alina Beck from Germany taking away the bronze medal. Sabina Kostakova of Czechia. My apologies to both nations. Of Czechia taking away the silver medal, and Christa von Niederhausen of Switzerland making it a home win for the women's competition. In that men's competition, Jesse Elzegard taking away the third place, the bronze medal for the Netherlands. Eddie Clerté, the BMX specialist, taking away France's silver medal in the men's competition. Clerté, no stranger to the area, phenomenal rider, and a rider who is due to be back in action in what is 2 weeks' time on the BMX World Cup Series as well. Great skills by him to take away that second place, but he couldn't touch the eventual race winner, the gold medalist. It was the rider from Switzerland who took away a top stop. That was Tristan Barrel of Switzerland. Phenomenal racing, phenomenal riding. Brilliant to see the race action unfold on that pump track. And we really look forward to seeing more of the race action as it continues onwards. And we still have plenty to come. The riders for cross country going to be taken to the slopes and around the town of Zermatt for the XCC, so that is the short track World Championships. One of the real fledgling disciplines, fledgling championships being run relatively short. It's only, we're still in single digits in terms of championships. It doesn't go back to 1990, and yet a really fast developing championship. They'll be looking to take away the medals there, and that's going to be our next racing. But before we get there, it's time for our medal ceremonies. And a quick recap of our women's rides for those medals. A fantastic third place, Marine Kabiru, coming back from injury, coming back from what was a real, almost life-threatening injury, something that nobody wants to come back from, doing an amazing job, taking away the bronze for France. It was multi-time champion Miriam Nicole taking the silver medal for France in second place, but no stopping Valentina Hull. Valley Hull taking away her fourth championship title in the elite in a row, adding to those wins that she'd taken previously. In that previous win in Pal Arinsol, she put down what was a phenomenal ride after a season where, her first win since July 2024, I think it is. That to come back and do that at the World Championships, that's something special.
It is a very special place to do it, and go 4 in the row as well. That's one for the history books. And it must have been weighing on her a little bit. I thought she's dealt with that very well throughout the whole year, and it's unfortunately sport. We ask the questions. Some people are overcritical if you're not winning, but she was still getting seconds, third. She's been basically not out of the top 3 the whole year. She's been riding incredibly well. And it's, as I mentioned, victim of her own success. She's forced every other woman to go out there and up their game, and now they're competing against her.
Marine Kabiru taking away the bronze medal. Great recovery from her. She ended up 1 second down, 1.091 down on the winning time of Hull. And Miriam Nicole came through, put down a time that we were just seeing not being beaten. She was so strong all the way down there, coming through in the end, 6.87 seconds down on the time that was set by Valley Hull's defending champion, the number one. She came down last with all of that pressure on the shoulders, and she absolutely nailed that run. And you could see it was almost like a weight had been lifted off shoulders and back into winning ways.
Ladies and gentlemen,
yeah, it was incredible to see.
Welcome to the award ceremony of the 2025 UCI Mountain Bike World Championships downhill in Champéry.
Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à la cérémonie protocolaire des championnats du monde Mountain Bike UCI 2025, descente à Champéry.
award ceremony of the 2025 UCI Mountain Bike World Championships, Women Elite Downhill.
Cérémonie protocolaire des championnats du monde mountain bike UCI 2025, descente, élite, femmes.
The medals will be presented by Monsieur Thomas Bach, IOC Honorary President, and the jersey will be presented by Monsieur David Lapartien, UCI President.
Les médailles sont présentées par Monsieur Thomas Bach, président honoraire du CIO, et le maillot sera remis par Monsieur David Lapartien, président de l'UCI.
In third place and winner of the bronze medal, representing France.
À la troisième place et vainqueur de la médaille de bronze, représentant la France, Marine Cabirou.
Marine Cabirou with a silver medal already, but this now going to be what is her third bronze medal. A medal, though, is a medal, and that is a great result after the comeback. Disappointment at not taking the win, not taking the silver, but still, I'm sure we're glad to be in those medals after what's gone before.
Yeah, I think she'll be so happy. I mean, the season was in jeopardy there, so with the injury.
In second place and winner of the silver medal, representing France.
À la deuxième place, vainqueur de la médaille d'argent, représentant la France, Miriam Nicole.
A fifth silver medal. Just counted on so many, running out of figures to count them on. It is a fifth silver medal for Miriam Nicole here, a rider who has already taken eighth. This is her ninth medal at the Downhill World Championships in the elite competition. Astounding ride by her, and at one point she must have thought this could be it, another title.
You would have had to have thought that with her being in the hot seat for so long, but I mean, that's one of the most inspiring rides of the whole week.
In first place, UCI World Champion and winner of the gold medal, representing Austria.
À la première place, championne du monde UCI et gagnante de la médaille d'or, représentant l'Autriche, Valentina Hall.
President of the UCI, David Lapartien, presenting the rainbow jersey, taking the win in 22 in Ligier, 23 in Glasgow, 24 in Palaiseau, and now once again being presented with the rainbow jersey with the gold medal. Another world championship in the back, 4 in a row. Valentina Hall propelling her way up through those all-time standings, becoming one of the real greats of our sport. Valley Hall back on winning ways. No stranger. It's a familiar sight seeing her here on the podium, Andrew. That relief was very evident, taking the win.
It was,
But
and
now
she
we
was a
go
bit
on.
surprised as well.
Yeah.
She said she almost didn't expect it, didn't feel that great on course coming in, so that'll definitely help the confidence that even when you're not feeling well, you're still where you need to be.
And doesn't need any new kit going on to the end of the mountain bike season on the World Cup either, because she can continue wearing those rainbow bands.
Yeah, and there's no rainbow curse for her. She's won plenty of times in the jersey, unlike some other riders that have had a little hard time in the jersey. There's a heavy weight to that jersey, there really is, but now she's so used to it. 4 in a row.
Indeed, and it's going to be a gold bell going across to Hull. A bronze one here for Cabirou. The handmade bells here in the canton of Valais. We've seen plenty of cowbells. They are a traditional thing to ring here. There's one down in the event arena. I'll tell you something, there's some serious noise going to be made by those. What a memento. I hope she's got somewhere really good and pretty strong to hang, because they're really heavy. Well, you can hear just how deep that is. The rainbow's on there, the champion for 2025, your 2025 mountain bike world champion, here in Valais in Switzerland at the Women's Elite Downhill. Valentina Hall. Well, the final presentation from our timing partners here at the
Ladies
World
and
Championships. A moment
in
in
honor
time.
of our new UCI World Champion, we present the national anthem of Austria.
Mesdames et messieurs, en l'honneur de notre nouvelle championne du monde UCI, nous vous présentons l'hymne national de l'Autriche.
Ladies and gentlemen, please one more time your applause for our
Et
medalists.
mesdames et messieurs, veuillez applaudir une dernière fois nos médaillés. Marine Cabirou, Myriam Nicole et Valentina Hell.
Was all three medalists assemble on the top step of the podium there. You can see those medals. The bronze medal going to Marine Cabirou of France, her countrywoman and multi-time champion. Myriam Nicole taking the silver this time around, but the 2025 Women's Elite Downhill Mountain Bike Champion, her fourth title as an elite. It is Valentina Hall with those four fingers aloft to signify those 4 race wins. Well, world champions have extra duties, but she's well used to them by now. Come with race day at World Championships, she just pulls it out.
Oh, it's incredible to witness, you know. I mean, it's so impressive how they deal with the pressure. You know, she's a very young racer. Yes, she's had great success as a junior, but, you know, the weight of this rainbow jersey and not having a win this whole year, you know, it just starts adding up. And what a cool way to get the monkey off your back.
Definitely, and I think probably the happiest rider about receiving the cowbells there was going to be Myriam Nicole. I suspect that cowbell's going to get rung a lot. I'm not sure. I wouldn't be in the same team car going home from here. A fantastic memento for our riders of the time here in Champéry. Before we move on to our men's ceremony that's to come, the women's race has shown what strength in depth we have, particularly in the junior women and then into the elite women. And the future really does look bright. We've got young riders, we've got established stars, we've got some of our youngest riders making their way up and going to be moving onwards from here.
Well, what's interesting is I think in the junior women, many of them were first-year juniors, so we're going to see them again in the junior carry. But that just shows you how good the talent is, how young they are. But it is really, there's going to be a change in the guard coming here quite soon in the women's category. Myriam Nicole's not going to race forever. I think she's just showing such a level of gratitude and happiness now. Hasn't been able to race as much as once, had some horrific injuries, and she's back with a silver medal on one of the most daunting tracks ever designed.
And Valley Hall there with the signatures, well practiced at this over the years at signing that jersey, the rainbow jersey here. You can see just how popular the world champions are. A real scrum in here as the press try to get all of those pictures that will be heading out on to social media. Big thank you to all of our partners who make the racing happen. As you can see, that Santini jersey with the signature of Valley Hall. And the world champion stripes are directly below that signature. we will see one more rainbow jersey, one more of those iconic jerseys being awarded here in Champéry. Champéry's been an astounding venue, and I know, listening to the talk and hearing the conversations about Champéry, maybe, you know, it's a great World Championship venue, not a World Cup. Would you want to see it come back on the World Cup scene, or is it saved for special occasions like this?
No, absolutely. I think it should be on the World Cup circuit. I think variety is key in big race series like that. And it's so awesome that we've come back, been able to host the World Championship, delivered that the safety is intact. The course builders, all the volunteers, everyone did an incredible job. It's a risk coming to Champéry. It is an aggressive track. It's a daunting track. But if you can host the World Champs, you've got to bring it back on the World Cup circuit as well.
And an amazing army of track builders, of people maintaining that track all the way through the weekend, right the way from the car parks, right the way to the top of the course. They have been putting in the hard graft before, and I'm sure they've seen Ronan Dunn putting in these multiple laps down here, his multiple runs down on the course as a resident of the area for so long. The man with the most runs, well, he took away the bronze medal. It's going to be a silver medal for Henry Kiefer, a long-time holder. A real breakthrough moment, and I think going onwards from here, you know, we've seen Dunn take that win. It's, you know, in the World Cup, he's now gone into the World Championships with that confidence. And confidence is so important. Jackson Goldstone, we know he's got the inner confidence. It doesn't matter what seems to happen. Inside, he's got it there. He knows he can do this. It just comes to him, and he just goes and nails it. He's done it now at the elite level, and this could be a scary run going forwards.
It could be quite dangerous for the other competitors. Absolutely. He's been winning from such a long age for so long. It's quite natural to him.
Award ceremony of the 2025 UCI Mountain Bike World Championships downhill in Champéry.
Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à la cérémonie protocolaire des championnats du monde Mountain Bike UCI 2025, descente à Champéry.
Award ceremony of the 2025 UCI Mountain Bike World Championships Men Elite Downhill.
Cérémonie protocolaire des championnats du monde Mountain Bike UCI 2025, descente élite homme.
The medals will be presented by Monsieur Thomas Bach, Honorary IOC President, and the jersey by Monsieur Thierry Maréchal, President of the UCI Mountain Bike Commission.
Les médailles seront présentées par Monsieur Thomas Bach, président honoraire du CIO, et le maillot sera remis par Monsieur Thierry Maréchal, président de la commission Mountain Bike UCI.
In third place and winner of the bronze medal, representing Ireland.
À la troisième place, vainqueur de la médaille de bronze, représentant l'Irlande,
What a moment for Ronan Dunn on the podium, taking away what will be a bronze medal being presented to him here. What a huge smile. He's loving every minute, and quite rightly so.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he was wanting a lot more, but I mean, first World Championship medal, you can't be upset with that. And I think as it'll all sink in, he'll see the moment, he'll enjoy this.
Representing Germany.
À la deuxième place, vainqueur de la médaille d'argent, représentant l'Allemagne, Henry Kiefer!
Well, another Stoke rider. What an hour plus he had waiting after rider came down, challenged. They started to erode that first split time. They couldn't challenge him low down those slopes. So close, and a fantastic result for the German.
Yeah, he was incredible from split 1 to split 2. No one could match him at all, and we almost were doubting Jackson Goldstone. But there was a lot of track still left, and
unbelievable performance from the young German. UCI World Champion.
à la première place, champion du monde du CI et gagnant de la médaille d'or, représentant le Canada,
First elite rainbow jersey, first elite title in the downhill. And I say the first for a reason, because I'm sure it won't be the last here today. A man who is very conscious of his position, shaking the hand there, and you can see what it means to him there. The smile, so genuine, and you know he's accomplished so much so far so early, and yet he's so pleased by it. And you've got to love somebody who loves being in the sport as he does, and then he wins, and with the dedication, a worthy winner. Jackson Goldstone, the UCI World Champion, Men's Downhill Elite for 2025.
Charge of institutional security and sports, as well as Monsieur Christophe Darbelé, Vice President of the State Council in charge of the economy and education.
Les cadeaux seront remis par Stéphane Ganzer, conseiller d'État.
Well, his hand's going to be full in a moment. Never mind pushing the air in delight as we see the smoke drift past that maple leaf on the Canadian flag here. So your men's podium, Brun taking away third spot in the bronze medal, the second place, and the silver medal going to Henry Kai for the gold medal, the rainbow jersey, and of course the biggest of all those cowbells will be going into Jackson Goldstone. Yeah, some weight there, Brun. He might be used to having a full base helmet on his head, but that is a serious weight to be carrying around. I know he's got plenty of spare luggage space on the way home.
Yeah, I'm not sure they all know what to do with a cowboy just yet, but
you get,
it is a cool memorabilia, I must say. That'll look good in the bar one day, you know, when you're looking back at your career.
I think they'll look good everywhere and anywhere. You know, when you get I've never been lucky to have or good enough to have like the Palmares that these guys have and the trophies they have, but that's a trophy you're going to remember for a long time, you know. And of course, with Valet here, we've also got the sustainable the tree, which will grow, and at some point in the future, hopefully that will be maintaining that memory when we're all long and gone.
La montre Tissot sera présentée par
So the
Monsieur
final
Thierry Maréchal,
presentation, the
président de la
amazing watch
commission
from
mountain
Tissot
bike
going
du
to Jackson Goldstone as our race winner. Serious bit of bling. That is going to no doubt see social media. Don't forget, our riders do appreciate if you follow them on social media. But time for us to appreciate the national anthem
of Canada.
Mesdames et messieurs, en l'honneur de notre nouveau champion du monde UCI, nous vous présentons l'hymne national du Canada.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, your applause for our medalists.
Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez applaudir une dernière fois nos médaillés. Run and Dune, Henry Kiefer, Jackson Goldstone.
Well, three very proud riders on the podium. Brun taking the bronze medal, Henry Kiefer taking away the silver, the gold medal, the rainbow jersey, and that place in the history books as the 2025 UCI Mountain Bike World Champion in downhill men's elite. Jackson Goldstone, 3 great riders, and followed by a whole host of talent who challenged but couldn't beat Goldstone today.
Unbelievable scenes, and you know, it was spoken about Dunn doing so many runs, but you've got to go and deliver, you know.
Yeah.
By the time the race comes, everyone's done enough runs. They're up to race speed. So incredible scenes here in Champéry, and what a deserving winner, Jackson Goldstone. He outrode the field today.
Yeah, and there's going to be a very happy ex-rider looking down on him in the shape of Stevie Smith, I'm sure. And as the bell is rung, is it a bell ringing in the changes? Are we going to now see a change in the guard? You talked about that in terms of the women's competition. I think the same could well be true here, when we start to see riders, the younger riders, coming through and pushing more and more. There's going to be a pushback, I'm sure. Established champions and riders maybe in those last chances when we move on from here in Valais to the next World Championships. That's going to be in Val di Sole in 2026. Put the date in your diary, the 26th to the 30th of August. And then we're going to have the championships the following year. That's in the Haute-Savoie at Leger. And that's going to be off the scale. 2027 championships. Book your time off work now. That's the 28th to the 3rd of August. So 28th on the way, sorry, to the 31st of August in 2027 in France at Leger. That is going to be a monumental party when we see all of the disciplines of cycling coming together in the Haute-Savoie. The emotion written all over Jackson Goldstone's face. Will he be the rider pulling on those rainbow stripes? Well, he gets to wear the stripes around his neck and on his sleeves forever now in that elite men's competition. But I don't think it's going to be all that long, surely, before we see him not just popping the champagne cork and enjoying the moment, but wearing those stripes across the centre of his chest again, as he indicated he would as he came over the line.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be quick on getting that kit ready for the next World Cup round. Oh, I mean, no podium without Dunn. It's complete without a shoey. So this is the changing of the guard. This is a very young podium in the men's field.
It is, and rather than me, I might like champagne every now and then when somebody buys a bottle, but I have to say I'm not sure I'll be drinking out of a shoe that's gone down that run, or a podium shoe if you are lucky enough to have them. Your 6 medalists up on stage in the women's elite and in the men's elite races. Here are bronze, silver and gold medalists celebrating quite rightly what has been a phenomenal downhill championship. It's all part of the 2025 World Championships for mountain bike, one of the many disciplines that is under the auspices of the UCI, the Union Cycliste Internationale, and covering everything from road to track to mountain bike. Don't forget, keep up on social media, really easy to do so. Hashtag Valais 2025. It is uci.org on the web, and don't forget, of course, you can follow across all of social media, UCI_mountain bike on Instagram, for example. But make sure you do check out those race results on the UCI webpage, as well as the schedule of what's coming up from the mountain bike championships here in Valais in Champéry. Photographs done and dusted for our medalists for the moment, but those duties will go on long into the evening, although I'm sure at some point it will change to a celebratory party for our medalists as well. Next round of the mountain bike World Cup's going to be interesting. Going to be seeing a few riders with maybe something to prove after the championship. Some riders who maybe could take the foot off the gas a little bit. Some riders who are maybe just thinking, do you know what? Let's get to the end of the season before we party too hard.
Yeah, I mean, this is a race for many just want to forget. You know, there's really only 3 places you're almost allowed to finish. Jordan Williams, incredible position there in 4th.
Yeah.
Loris Vergier, Dylan Maples as well in 6th, coming back from injury. We're barely speaking about these guys. It's not a World Cup series event, you know. So, but then the other ones, if you crash out and burn, you know, you can forget this one pretty easy, and you still got a few races to go.
Well, this is where we see if Jackson Goldstone's signatures, his putting his moniker down, is exactly the same as his speedy movement. Going to need to get some practice at that, because he's got a lot to do.
He certainly does. And I think if they don't get him to do it now, he's going to disappear into the mountains and city of the town of Champéry.
Indeed, much smoother second time around. That's how fast a learner he is. He's in the hands of Steve Peat there at the side there holding the jersey. A man who's an absolute legend of the sport from my hometown in the UK, from Sheffield, and an absolute inspiration and a real guiding light in that team.
Yeah, I mean, what better guy to have in your corner? You know, he's been through so many ups and downs in the sport, in his career, and I think he'll know exactly what to say at the right time to mentor someone like Jackson.
So you can see now with those totals added in the medal table as we move on from here. Here at the downhill, we're going to be moving across. We still have lots of cross country to come. Who's going to be topping that table? France hold the record in the women's and the men's in downhill. But of course, we've got lots of great disciplines to come. An absolute pleasure putting the words to the action here with Andrew. Thank you very much for joining me, Matt Penn, in the commentary box. I know a lot of people will be wanting to catch up on the aftermath of this. You'll be unpicking it on the podcast.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I still got to get home soon. So thanks very much to everyone for tuning in. It was an absolute honor. Thank you to you, Matt.
So we're going to leave you with some of the fantastic images from a fantastic venue and a fantastic downhill championships from me, Matt Penn, from Andrew Neathing and all of the team here in Champéry. We'll catch you for the next racing soon. Goodbye.